accept it. They accept the reality of the circumstances that these premium games, these premium tournaments have a caveat, which means that ultimately they're beyond the reach of most people. That doesn't make it right. I'm not arguing for the right and wrong of it. I'm putting the pragmatic reality of it. I do not know, and at this moment in time, I'm not sure that we do know, the reason why this referee wasn't allowed in the country. If he didn't meet the visa requirements...
He hasn't met the vetting requirements, is what I'm
told. So that's not a mess. That's an issue from his side, okay. And it's an issue from the people that represent him. As far as the Iranians are concerned, with due respect to whether you like it or you don't like it, the US is at war with Iran. It's hardly a surprise that you are not going to particularly want Iranian supporters coming into the country, despite the proclamation at the time, with the circumstances that Infantino was orchestrating and illustrating, that we want it to be the most inclusive World Cup you could possibly be, and it will be available to everybody. But there are exceptions. If you don't meet your visa requirements, and if you're at war with a country, those are possibly reasonable exceptions. You've now got a World Cup that's got 48 teams rather than 32. So already you're making it more accessible.
Yeah.
So there are lots of pros and cons. What we are doing is we're doing what media usually does, which is find a reason to find something other than the football to talk about. And I quite like that, because I don't want to spend my entire time talking about who plays left back for Costa Rica. But I get the parameters of every tournament comes up, whether it was Russia, whether it was South Africa, the stadiums weren't going to be built, whether it was Russia because of the nature of that country's environment and the way that they live, whether it was Qatar because of the confected outrage from the West that was lecturing countries across the world about how they should conduct themselves in society whilst having no convictions of our own.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
The headlines at 1:02. I'm Tom Clayton. Good afternoon. talkSPORT Steve Harmison says everyone needs to calm down as Ben Stokes investigated over an incident in a nightclub.
Ben's a great kid. He's an honest lad, and he's somebody who will know whether he's overstepped the boundaries or not. And he will... I'm fully behind him, and he'll do whatever needs to be the right thing to be done in this situation once the facts come out.
It's understood Stokes was involved in an altercation with a Saracens Academy rugby player in the early hours of Monday morning. Now, the independent football regulator is in touch with West Ham following historical allegations about their co-owner. David Sullivan categorically denies he pressured young models into sex as the owner of the Daily and Sunday Sport. The former Palace chairman Simon Jordan doesn't see how Sullivan can be forced into selling his stake in West Ham.
But what we're talking about is inappropriate, unseemly behaviour. We're not talking at this moment in time about illegal behaviour, and because he hasn't been charged with anything. So where do they go? Has he got controlling influence over the football club? He's resigned from his position of vice chairman for his own reasons.
2 days out from the World Cup, Iran's FA says the country's ticket allocation has been revoked. It means supporters who've already made plans will be unable to attend matches. Ian Wright has posted on his social media heavily criticising the organisation.
Is this how the hosts behave, really, for the greatest game, the greatest tournament in the world? Is this how the hosts behave? Are we not hearing more? Are we seeing how Qatar got dragged? Are we not hearing more?
England's final warm-up game against Costa Rica is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. And it's talkSPORT's understanding that Kieran McKenna is increasingly likely to leave Ipswich this summer, with Fulham interested. Meanwhile, we understand Man City are in contract talks with Josko Gvardiol. Get more at talkSPORT.com.
talkSPORT News.
So Keir Starmer's condemning the sickening knife attack in Belfast, and a 14-year-old girl's been arrested over a suspected stabbing at a school in Manchester. Sinead has more at 1:30.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Our expert technicians can't do your spring cleaning, but they can keep your car's inbuilt safety tech in top nick. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
Sunny spells and showers for most of us. Some areas staying dry. Showers most frequent in the north and west. Wet across central and eastern Scotland. Feeling cool.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT Weather this afternoon. Please tell us, Andy, what's coming.
Well, coming up over the next 3 hours, former Spurs, Liverpool City and England forward Paul Stewart looks ahead to the World Cup. We'll also wonder what the future holds for Ben Stokes after the latest nightclub incident. And our refereeing expert Christina Uncle reacts to the shock banning of a top Somali official.
We'll also have some of your Daniel Dubois-inspired went to the wrong place tales, and the former Reading and Bristol Rovers striker Jamie Curtin joins us to celebrate winning the Seniors World Cup last week.
It's an omen.
With England, it is. It's come home already.
There's all this, plus Canadian comedian Phil Nicol on the co-host chance of the tournament, and author Jonathan Northcroft tells us how Thomas Tuchel ripped up the script after last year's damaging defeat to Senegal.
That's right, new book we'll be chatting about a little bit later on from an England point of view, but it is approaching 7 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul. And as we're about to discover, as we've known over the years, football is a game of opinions.
Indeed.
And this one is a classic from Bob Dixon in Surrey, who wrote to the Sun this morning with this.
Yes.
With their 4-0 win over Bolivia in a friendly, Scotland have peaked too soon for the World Cup. You look at life like that. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I hope not, from Scotland's point of view. That's as good as it gets. They're in for a long journey. I watched The Golden Generation last night.
Was it good?
A documentary about 2006 and the Wags and all that. It was a nice little trip down memory lane. I'd forgotten how pretty ordinary we were. We sort of limped through that tournament.
Oh, 2006, 2010, we were terrible.
Yeah, we weren't great, were we? And our own Natalie Sawyer popped up, was one of the talking heads in it. But yeah, look, it was interesting. And all the madness around Wayne's metatarsal, front page of the tabloids.
I know.
Where you had to rub it for good luck. And he wasn't right. I mean, he admits in the documentary, I mean, it's not breaking news, but he does admit, he said, I probably shouldn't have gone. I wasn't fit, and he couldn't play at his normal level.
It was quite a common theme at the time. Didn't Beckham do something similar? I think?
Yeah. Players have done that, haven't they, along the way?
It's not good. Good old Daniel Dubois yesterday. The fine boxer.
Poor old Daniel Dubois. It wasn't yesterday, it was at the weekend, Saturday.
The weekend, yeah.
I didn't. Do you know what? I'd forgotten completely until I watched some of Ed and all the ITV coverage of the derby on Saturday afternoon. That you wear toppers for Derby Day.
It is top hat and tails.
But that had been lost to me until I saw that picture of Daniel again today, and he was he'd really gone for it. He'd gone down the outfitters. He'd gone to Moss Bros.
The person at Ascot that said to him, "No, mate, it's not here."
Yeah. But yeah, he did. Frank Warren. We spoke to Frank on Friday. He had an involvement with the derby. Queensbury had linked up with the course, and so he's invited Daniel along for a day out. But he just thought top hat and tails. It must be Ascot, which is next week, isn't it? A week after?
Something like that, yeah.
So,
he'll go to Epsom.
He rocked up at Ascot. So he missed the derby. Saw some other races, apparently, a bit later on.
Yeah.
And it was hammering down and all, wasn't it? So anyway, I went to the wrong place. If you want to give us a few of those this afternoon, there's been some. I mean, years ago on 90 Minutes, we had a corker of some Newcastle fans for a 3 o'clock kickoff at White Hart Lane, apparently being asked, getting off a train at Tottenham Court Road and saying, "Where's the ground? Where's the ground?"
Oh dear.
So talksport.com.
That's good.
Talksport.com/18J and text to 81089. Tweet to TSH and J. You can give us a call 03717 22 3344.
I've always loved the language of the court circular. It says here, the King and Queen, joint patrons of the Jockey Club, honoured Epsom races with their presence today. This was on Saturday. I'm honouring you with my presence today.
Yeah, well, what a great honour it is. Yeah,
I love this bloke as well. England fan David.
That's the sort of thing people say as a bit of a joke. They say, they honoured us with their presence. But they really mean that.
They do mean it, exactly.
Yeah. Are you not honoured? Do you ever think they ever say that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But apparently they're much more into racing than they used to be.
Yeah.
David Bolster, this is a big England fan. He follows them all over the place, been to loads of games.
Yeah.
A Millwall fan. But I love this. There was a piece of him in the Times. It says, when David Bolster's second wife filed for divorce, the legal papers recorded her grounds as Millwall and England.
Yeah.
That's great, isn't it?
Imagine that.
Well,
but in that order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just quite interesting.
It's amazing how much he's put into this and how much it's cost him.
We're going to be talking about the England camp later on. Jonathan Northcroft has co-written a book about England, sort of Southgate into Tuchel and the process that brought Thomas Tuchel in, which is very interesting. But probably more interesting for us now is the way things have changed in the time he's been there. The things that they got wrong, him and his coaching staff, they realised they'd got wrong, Tuchel, and why Senegal, that defeat to Senegal at the City ground was a kind of bit of a turning point. So Jonathan will tell us more. And it kind of bodes well when you read the stuff in the book. It does bode well for
all of it sort of bodes well. And there's been some footage released this morning of him giving a very sort of inspirational talk. I think it was his first ever team talk to the thing. It is fascinating, and what he says is great. But it is a proof of the pudding.
Well, it is Mike Tyson's. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Musically, they've gone old school. I don't know if you've seen this. The training ground and the gym, they've been pumping out Luther Vandross.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
Luther Vandross and Freeze, which is an event act, but Southern Freeze and all that.
That's how it's the only dross we see.
That's right.
Really.
That is true. That is going to be a gift. Be a gift to the tabloids, isn't it? So there we are.
And what's that?
I'll tell you what, Becky was just telling me he was on the decks today. She sent a little video of me playing the Vuvuzela yesterday and played it to her kids.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, the kids said, they're good. Have they got them at work? Can you bring them home? But I said, well, it was 2010, you could. But it's nice to know the Vuvuzela has still got a life.
It's good.
Although imagine, Becky, you're delighted. Imagine that. Imagine 2 young kids or 3 young kids blowing Vuvuzelas constantly throughout the World Cup.
That wouldn't be good.
Not a good idea. What we're going to be talking about this afternoon, we're going to kick off today, if only I can find the right piece of paper in front of me. What are we going to be kicking off with today, Andy? George Dobell, that's right. We're going to talk cricket with George. And in light of it was interesting to hear from Harmy there saying, let's actually find out what's happened first before we start condemning everybody. That is absolutely true.
But why were they out after the curfew? That's the big question.
Apparently ECB security were with them. Wasn't it the job of ECB security to say, no, you're not going out, you're breaking the curfew?
I know, that's what it should have been.
Yeah. So there's a lot of questions unanswered, and maybe I don't know if George can answer them or not, but we'll certainly conjecture, do it exactly what Harmy told us not to.
They're in an incredibly difficult position because if they decide that Stokes has to go, that gives them a massive problem. Because there's no ready-made thing. It would be absolute farce if they gave it to Brooke.
That's not the criteria with which to make the decision.
No, it's not, but from a cricket point of view...
You did make the point that the next cab off the rank is Harry Brook, who's already been fined 50 grand, lied about who was with him in a club.
I know, it would be ridiculous.
So it's not great, is it? Anyway, the cricket regulator are going to be passing judgment. I've never heard of them.
I didn't even know there was one.
I looked him up a bit today, but George can kind of fill us in on that and where we're at with this story and why it is pretty unhelpful, especially with they're going to have to make a decision quickly because they're going to be announcing the squad for the team for the second test, aren't they, very soon? Paul Stewart, formerly of City, Spurs, England, Liverpool, will be joining us as well. And Christina Uncle, the referee and broadcaster and one of our refereeing experts throughout the World Cup. Christina's very upset that the Somali referee has not been allowed to do his job at the World Cup after being denied entry to the United States, despite everything apparently and special visas being issued. When it came down to it, he was refused the opportunity to work at a World Cup. Christina will tell us what she made of that and some other stories involving Uzbekistan and Senegal and their treatment maybe when they arrived in the country. Phil Nicol, comedian, will join us, Canadian comedian. Evertonian as well, he'll tell us why. But we're going to talk about Canada's chances and maybe what the mood is there, although, of course, he's based over here these days. Dee Allen, fellow comedian and Watford fan, she's going to be watching every game of this World Cup.
Really?
Despite the fact she's doing an Edinburgh run. So all the 3 o'clock, she's not going to miss a match. She's decided to make an effort.
There's our overnight reporter.
Yeah, I think she could be. She could be our creature of the night. More on that a little bit later on. We'll look at some of the tactics in this tournament, how it might be played, the slower pace of games because of the heat, the drinks breaks and how they'll feed into it, and other matters besides. Dean Scoggins writes a fine tactics piece in The Sun. Will be joining us to do that. And we've already won the World Cup. Jamie Curitan's going to tell us all about winning the Seniors World Cup over in Thailand. They beat the French 4-0 in the final. So, yeah, as Andy said, a good omen. That's all to come. But get in touch. I went to the wrong place. Daniel Dubois inspired. talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089. Tweet to TSH&J. or 03717223344. But we start chatting to the cricketer's very own George DeBell, and with all the fallout from what happened between the Saracens Academy player and a couple of the England cricketers. We're here with the Toolstation Trade Club. You'll get 10% off all electrical and lighting products when you buy cable and flexes. First stop, Toolstation.
A lot, actually, has been made of Jude Bellingham and his role in this World Cup. Many thought Thomas Tuchel would give him the captain's armband in the second half, and that meant he's back in favour. However, he's actually facing a fight to make the starting 11. I'll be stunned, but Thomas Tuchel said this after the game about Bellingham. He's one of the starters. He knows he's one of the starters, but we have 14 or 15 potential starters. Yeah. These roles can always change, but at the moment, I think there are like 14 or 15 prepper starters, and Jude is one of them. Would he say that about Harry Kane?
Yeah, but I think he's right, though. Everyone's looking for a story here. Bellingham's not going to start. So what? Bellingham has got experience. Already played in 3 tournaments. This is his 4th tournament. 3 goals, 2 assists in major tournaments. He's got the experience. But if he doesn't start, so what? It's not a big deal. Morgan Rogers has been in outstanding form for Aston Villa. And I'm sure by the end of the tournament, whenever England go out, if they win it, Jude Bellingham would have played a big role. But if he does start, he knows he's got to be at it. Because you've got someone like Rodgers and Eze who are there to try and take your spot.
But you say it's not a big deal, and I agree, it's not a big deal.
Not for
me. But you want your best player starting, and I would say Jude Bellingham's better than Morgan Rogers.
Of course, yeah.
What happened there?
Different players for me. I like Jude Bellingham, but I love the way Morgan Rogers. He's running
better. If you're going to pick 1 in out of 10, who are you picking?
I can't call it.
Why?
I think they both offer something different. In certain games, you'd have Bellingham. In certain games, you'd have Rodgers. But Bellingham could start against Croatia, and what if he's quiet?
Yeah.
Rodgers comes on, plays out of his skin, and has a good performance. Starts the next game.
It's a nice problem to have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But what I like about Thomas Tuchel is the fact that, and you've got to keep footballers on.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Paul Stewart joining us a little bit later on, formerly Liverpool and Spurs and England to look ahead to the World Cup. But before that, we're going to talk cricket bit of a depressing story overnight that Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson found themselves in a night. Well, they didn't find themselves. They went to a nightclub, apparently with ECB security guys, and got involved in something with a Saracens Academy player. We don't know a great deal more than that. It's down to the cricket regulator, apparently, to pass judgment. George DeBell joins us now, senior correspondent for the Cricketer. Hi, George.
Good afternoon.
You can tell us more about the cricket regulator, maybe, and who they are and why they wield such power.
I can, if you like. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the regulator and its introduction. It's not too dissimilar to the football regulator. Until a couple of years ago, there was a worry that cricket was policing itself, and you would have these situations where, the Azim Rafiq situation is the one that brought it into life, really, where he complained, and went through every channel available to him and didn't make any progress. So at the end of that process, it was decided there needed to be an independent regulator who wasn't going to be affiliated to the Players' Union, to the counties, to the ECB, and would make more intelligent, fair decisions. And it's a fairly recent introduction, but I think it's a huge step in the right direction for what it's worth.
And how great are their powers? Can they effectively say, what can they do? Or will they just advise the England hierarchy on it?
No, they can ban and they can suspend and they can impose fines. No, they've got teeth.
It's going to be interesting.
Rob Key and the management team, they must be tearing their hair out of this. Whatever the circumstances, this should never have happened, should it, really?
Well, let's take a step back or two. It probably shouldn't have happened, but let's clarify what we know and get it in perspective. A couple of players have broken a curfew. Does it amount to a huge amount more than that? Don't know that it does, personally. So my view is a bit more sympathetic. It was the end of the game. I'm not positive they knew that there was still a curfew in place. One of them lives in London, Gus Atkinson. He lives quite near the place it happened, I think. Is there a curfew, for the whole month? In between games, the 10 days between games? When does it stop? It's possible he erred in his understanding because there was a curfew, and you would hope that the England captain would know better. But I don't know that for a fact. I don't know that they knew they were breaking a curfew. Okay, first of all. Secondly, they're not accused of having done anything yet that we know. And I say that with a big caveat. If more information comes out, we can look at this differently. But at the moment, they were the victims of someone trying to punch them, right? Yeah. Well, that's not a fight, is it? That's the victims. So let's just get in perspective. The England captain has a role as a leader, and he should be setting an example, and he shouldn't have been there. I don't think anyone is going to deny that.
If it had never happened before, I'd agree with you 100%. But, given what happened before, it's just inexcusable. And it lives. If the regulator decides, we don't know this, he'll come up with the decision, or they'll come up with the decision. But if they decide to ban Stokes, that is a massive problem for England, because the next cab on the rank, Harry Brook, that would look ridiculous to give him the captaincy.
Well, I don't think this is going to be the timeline. I fear, from everything I hear, that Stokes is going to act first, and regretfully, I hear that he is going to step down and possibly even retire. I think that would be hugely regrettable, and I hope he doesn't. I hope he stands and fights his ground with, which is the Ben Stokes we know. I hope he brings this back from the brink like he has done so many games. But everything I hear is that he may well have been given some sort of ultimatum, but I fear that probably within the day we'll have heard that he stood down, and I think that's a damn shame. And I don't think it's necessary. While not excusing everything that's happened, I just think the punishment, if that's the right word, should be proportionate. And let's get it in perspective again. A 35-year-old man has stayed out beyond midnight. It's not, in isolation, it's not that bad. And you're absolutely right. There's a context. There is a context. It would be disingenuous for me to pretend there isn't. But none of the stuff that's happened in this period has been that bad. We're talking about people staying out and having too many drinks, or staying out too late, really. And it's not ideal, and he's got to set an example, and there has to be some repercussion. But do we really want to see one of the most inspirational cricketers that England have ever had ending their career like this. And personally, I very much don't.
George, you say he's been issued you hear he's been issued some kind of ultimatum. So is this the hierarchy saying to him, look, you're going to have to step down? Or is this Ben Stokes upset with the reaction, the fact that a lot of people have maybe jumped to the conclusion that he and Gus Atkinson were to blame? Is he the sort of injured party, or is he being lent on, as far as you understand, to make this decision?
So I want to make it really clear that I don't know that for sure, which is what I said right at the start. That let's clarify what we know for sure, which is that they were out after the curfew. But we don't know that they did anything wrong, apart from that, and we don't know that they knew there was a curfew.
No.
Okay.
But you are hearing that.
Yes,
you are hearing that he. But is that him upset, or is that somebody upset with him?
I think he's been lent on, yeah, and I think he's upset that he's been lent on, and I would be if I were him too. But I hope that everyone just takes a deep breath and just gets this in proportion again. Listen, I don't want to completely minimise it. It's not great. It's clearly not ideal, but it isn't huge. It's really not in the grand scheme of things. Look, it's so frustrating. There's so much good about Ben Stokes, and he has done this a couple of times before. And you would think, as England captain, that he would know better and set a better example. But do we really want it to end this way? And I don't. And
I don't either.
I think for the best of everybody, actually, there could be another more sophisticated solution.
He has got so much still to offer, you feel. I mean, look, he's had his injury record, etc., but it would be a real blow to English cricket for him to bow out now, wouldn't it?
It would, and it would be such a sad way for a guy who's done so much. Look, the 2019 World Cup is probably going to be remembered. England's men had never won a 50-over World Cup before then. He then could well have been player of the match in the T20 World Cup final, which he basically won for England as well. And then, of course, there are all the things he's done in Test matches. So he's been a brilliant leader. I'm not positive he's the best tactical captain, and he's out of form, but I think he needs more support, personally, right now. He looked tired, he looked jaded, he looked irritable in these last couple of weeks. And I think all those things are part of this decision. By the way, can I come back to that point you made about security guards being there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I find that really fascinating. How is it that the ECB employ a security guard and they go at a time when we now know they shouldn't have been there, unless they also thought there was no curfew?
Yeah.
So my theory, I mean, you could definitely argue that this enables the players to misbehave. They're literally going with security to places, and the security guys could say, no, you can't go out, or they could say, if you go out, I'm going to inform the higher management. They could do those things, right?
Mm.
I presume that the reason that doesn't happen is because they're worried that if they did that, the players would slip out in secret, they would creep out, and they would get themselves into situations where they didn't have security. And let's remember, the security guy took the blow that we think was aimed at Gus Atkinson. The security guy has actually done his job, hasn't he? So for all the criticism there will be for this slightly woolly protocol, it might have worked.
Yeah. And just finally, just to clarify, you think we're going to get some kind of decision, some kind of announcement potentially today, is your understanding?
Yeah, I'm afraid so, and I really hope it's not so, and I hope that someone could get in Ben's ear and persuade him to take a deep breath and fight this one, just like he fought at Lords in 2019.
Well, you would expect that to be Brendan McCullum and Rob Key, whose relationship with him is good, and you'd be surprised if it's them issuing the ultimatum, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would, actually. I would be surprised if it was them. So there's a whole wider question about the culture, isn't there? I mean, the ECB decided to stick with Rob Key after the debacle of the Ashes tour. And we're one test into this, revitalised regime, and this has happened. So how Rob Key keeps his job, I do not know. But I don't think, in a way, that matters so much. Because you could replace... If Rob Key didn't turn up to work tomorrow, to be honest, not many people are noticing. If Ben Stokes isn't at the first day of the Oval Test, everyone notices. It's a big deal. Ben Stokes has got a lot to offer still. And he's the one who I think is worth fighting for. And I don't want to say again that he's completely innocent of anything. He's made an error of judgment, but just in proportion, how bad is it? I wouldn't want to end a career. Maybe suspend him for a game, if that's what it has to be. Set an example. But to end a great career like this, we can do better than that, I think.
But don't you think if they do suspend him for a game, everything you say that he's considering and thinking, that will just be amplified because he's thinking, oh, thanks, I'm definitely back.
He'll be looking for support, maybe.
Yeah, and that's what Harmy was saying. Mentally, the players need supporting, but I mean, he knows about cricketers.
He does, and he knows Ben. I'm a big fan of Harmy. Yes, but that can all be true. But if Ben would accept that he was out late and he has to take some medicine, I think he's an adult. He could do that. We've all had to do that, haven't we? And it's not the end of the world. He could be back in 2 weeks. I would like to think that he can live with that, and that the management can come to some sort of consensus around that. That he maybe he does need a slap on the wrist. Well, he can live with that, right? So I hope that everyone, say again, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And just not get this out of proportion.
No. George, really interesting. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Pleasure as ever. Cheers.
George DeBell there, senior correspondent for the cricket, whose understanding it is that we can expect some kind of announcement today. And from what George says, it's not going to be good news if you're a fan of Ben Stokes as the England captain and possibly an England player.
Not good.
Because a curfew, normally breaking a curfew would probably be a fine and a slap on the wrist. As you say, it's the rap sheet, isn't it, in the past?
It's the context.
Not just with Ben Stokes, but maybe a few other players and everything that went on in the Ashes that will pile the pressure on. But it would be a great shame, as George said, that his England career should end like this. But we will keep an eye on that for you. Paul Stewart's going to join us next, formerly of City, Spurs, Liverpool, England. Tell us about his new role in the world of safeguarding and indeed to talk a bit of England ahead of the start of the World Cup.
He was brought in to win the World Cup. It is all or nothing. You either win the World Cup or you don't. Now, actually, it might be black or white for a lot of people. I think there's a little bit of greyness in there. If he gets through to the semi-final and loses unluckily against Argentina or Portugal for some reason, or gets to the final as well, I think that's okay in these conditions. But there will be a lot of people who will say, well, you didn't do this, you didn't take Cole Palmer, Morgan Gibbs-White, Harry Maguire, Lewis Hall. You made these decisions with the Arsenal boys. Do you know what? It's all about winning football matches now. And in that sense, even though I haven't been in total agreement with him, I'm behind him.
Thomas Tuchel all the way for Scott Minto.
Not quite.
What's the minimum then? I know you said he was brought in to win the World Cup.
What's
the minimum that he has to achieve for you?
Do you know what? So for the 2022 World Cup, I thought, we've got a real good chance here. And Hugo Lloris said if Harry Kane had stuck that penalty away, England would have beaten us, and who knows what would have happened after that. The 2024 Euros, I thought going into it, I thought we've got a great chance here, and we kind of laboured our way through to the final. Genuinely, with this competition, I've got no idea. Because we could easily get to the final, because I think we are one of the best teams, and we could evolve as the tournament goes on, but then there's half a dozen who could as well. Or we could play Mexico in Mexico City with the heat, humidity, altitude. Graham Souness once told me, he was captain of Scotland in '86. He said, your body does three things in the altitude. One, you can handle it. Two, you struggle.
Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson could be dropped for the second test with New Zealand next week. It's after an incident in a nightclub in the early hours of Monday morning. England's cricketers were already subject to a midnight curfew following allegations of a drinking culture. Here's Wisden editor Lawrence Booth.
Stokes was part of the management team that imposed that curfew, and he is the one who's now turned around and broken it. So it's very hard now, I think, for him to hang on to the authority that he's had over this team, and England face a very difficult decision.
The independent football regulator is talking to West Ham following historical allegations about their co-owner. David Sullivan categorically denies he pressured young models into sex as owner of the Daily and Sunday Sport. Without a criminal charge, Simon Jordan doesn't see how Sullivan can be forced into selling his stake at West Ham.
I don't see where the IFR goes with this, besides making a statement that we're in the business of making sure that our job is seen to be visible. He's a shareholder. How do they force him to sell his shares? How do they tell him what the share price of that scenario is? I'm assuming he might want to sell his shares anyway.
We understand Leeds keeper Carl Darlow is a target for Man United this summer. The last player to move from Leeds to Old Trafford was Alan Smith in 2004. And the administrator suspended for asking what former World Cup winner Maggie Alfonsi knows about men's rugby has quit. Matthew Smith has stood down from representing Warwickshire at the RFU. There is more at talksport.com.
Hawksbee Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now, the former Spurs, Liverpool, Manchester City and England forward Paul Stewart wrote very powerfully in his autobiography Damaged about abuse he suffered at the hands of a youth coach. Safeguarding has become a huge part of his life since then in youth football, and he is now the director of safeguarding for the Football Safety app. He joins us now. Hello, Paul.
Hi guys, you okay?
Yeah, we're good. Good to see you again, Paul. This is a role very close to your heart. Tell us more about. We had a chat with Emil Heskey about the Football Safety app a few months back, but tell us more.
Yeah, well, as you know, I think I came on the show when I wrote the book. Guys, was the last time I seen you. I think 2017.
Wow.
I've dedicated probably my life to safeguarding now. I do a lot of work with the EFL and the Premier League, and I go around the world talking about safeguarding. And these guys that developed this app came to me and asked would I like to get involved. And to be honest with you, it was a no-brainer, guys, because I think everyone deserves and should be allowed to go to sports or any setting without fear of any sort of abuse, that goes on. If there's any trouble, if there's even with hate crime that's online now, it's become something that people think is acceptable, and it shouldn't be like that. And this Football Safety app really does bring to the forefront, how we can challenge people that think they can behave in this way. And as you quite rightly alluded to, Emil and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank are both involved, and of course, there's no doubt that they came across a lot of incidents of abuse, probably racial, in their time. And I think, if we can stop this, or at least do our best to eradicate it from sport, then this Football Safety app does that. It's a 24/7 reporting line. Then any of the incidents will go direct to the person responsible, and we can act upon it straight away. Dead easy to download from your phone. You get it from the App Store. And it's free. So for me, it was just a no-brainer, Paul and Andy, to get involved with something that just provides a layer of safety for those that are going to enjoy whatever pastime they enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of publicity about this. Do you think the situation has improved, or do you still think this is going on in certain places?
I think it's still going on. I think when you watch live football on TV and you see some of the behaviours that go on in the stadiums, just watching it from home, we know that it still goes on. I think there's still a huge problem with racial discrimination, which shouldn't really in society today. We should have come far further than where we are. So, as I say, this was developed to make sure that any form of abuse, whether it be physical, it doesn't even have to be in the football grounds, guys. If somebody's on the way to the ground, if they're in a bar, they can report it, and it can be anonymously. So, as I said, with a lot of the other work I do within safeguarding, this was just for me another bolt on to try and make people safe when they're going about their daily lives, but trying to enjoy not just sport but any activity without repercussions of harm.
Yeah. So Football Safety app, the App Store and Google Play and wherever you get your apps, but go and check it out and download it. Paul, we're nearly off to a World Cup. I mean, how are you feeling about it from an England point of view? You positive looking at the squad we've got?
I don't know, but I guess like you guys, over the years, I've got so excited about us doing so well. We've had some teams that have gone there that you would have said we should really be going all the way with them teams. This year, I'm trying to hold back a bit, guys. I'm trying to not get overexcited, but of course, I still want them to do very well. I think the heat's going to play a huge problem and a huge part in the game. So rehydration and health is gonna really matter, I think, in this World Cup. But optimism is what we are as English fans, and I'm as optimistic as anybody else. So yeah, I like you guys. I want the best for the country, and I want to see us do very, very well.
You won your England caps under Graham Taylor, Paul, didn't you? So what was it like going from club level into international level? I mean, Thomas Tuchel was very keen to have good tourists, a good balance of people that you can spend, 5 or 6 weeks with. I mean, what was your experience of going into an England camp at that time?
Listen, it was always a great honour, despite probably Graham's sort of the way he was forced out of the job. But you are stepping up to a massive level when you think about it. I mean, our Premier League now being the best in the world, and then stepping up from that. I think it's I think it shows. I think you get found out a lot quicker, guys, than you would in league football. And it's a great challenge. Don't get me wrong, but you realise you're actually facing the best in the world when you're playing, and that in itself, is quite daunting sometimes.
Yeah.
We always forget that, don't we?
No, absolutely. Yeah, I think.
No, you're right. We do.
I think we do. Can you? Who did you play your games against? Can you remember your England caps were against?
Yeah, well, I remember my first one being against West Germany.
Wow. Okay, nice easy start then.
I know. Yeah, we got beat at Wembley. My memory of it was getting booked for an incident against the captain then of West Germany. But you always remember him. I played out in Russia and Czechoslovakia. Do you know what? It's just putting them 3 lions on, guys, and realising not what you've achieved, but you everything you dreamed of as a child, then comes to fruition in games that really flash by. You're that nervous, you're that excited, you've got everything, and then it just flashes by so quickly. And I think anyone and I'm sure the guys will, anyone that represents the country, they've got to soak it up, remember it all, enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. Nice one, Paul. Always a pleasure. Best of luck with this football safety app, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Can I just mention one more thing as well, guys, before you go, please? Because I've also got another initiative, which is the Safeguarding Union. I launched it a couple of weeks ago. I think that those that protect the children need protecting themselves. So I formed a union for anyone to join for the support. I mean, we've got one for players. We've got one for managers. Safeguarding officers seem to get left out on a limb, and I wanted to create something for them where they can come for the support, because it isn't the easiest job in the world, guys.
No.
You know, they're dealing with a lot of incidents, and they need the support as everybody else does within sport or within education. So I'd love people to get involved. They've just got to look up Safeguarding Union .org.uk online, and we're here to support you for the work that you do protecting those youngsters that are pursuing their dreams. So I just wanted to mention that because I'm very passionate about it, guys, and you know what I'm like. I've been 10 years now trading the boards and continue to do so to try and make it as safe as I can for everyone.
We'll keep it up, and good luck with the union as well, Paul. All the best. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
There we are. Paul Stewart, formerly Liverpool, Spurs, Manchester City, Blackpool, Workington, and now the director of safeguarding and the man who's founded the Safeguarding Union. More power to him. Christina Uncle joins us next. Going to hear a lot from Christina from a refereeing point of view, but the main focus today really is Omar Artan, who's not going to be at the World Cup. The Somali top referee in African football refused entry to the United States, apparently, despite having a special visa, because it was flagged up this could be an issue. But when it came to it, he wasn't allowed entry. So Christina, very upset about this. She'll explain why in a few moments' time. We're here with Tool Station. First stop, Tool Station.
You've played a lot of football in Thailand, of course. Are you there now? Or are you in LA? I can't work out where you are.
I'm in LA at the minute, but I played the last season in Thailand.
Yeah. What's the community out there for you? How much of a sort of not an eye opener was it? But you can't really prepare for that unless you're out there, right?
You can't really prepare for it, and you don't really get used to it. There's not a time in the whole season where I thought, right, now I'm used to the conditions. It's how can I adapt my game to be able to survive? Am I going to have to time my runs? Am I going to have to dribble once and then keep it simple? Am I going to have to defensively? Am I going to have to know when and where to press? Because I can't go every time. And I think that's what the England guys are going to have. It's a similar conditions, probably not as hot, but that's what the guys are going to have to figure out over the two friendly games is I can't go every time. I'm going to have to choose my moments. And I think we saw in New Zealand, even like the Anthony Gordons and the Ollie Watkins, who are go, go, go. Even those guys were choosing their moments. Ngamoa played very well on the right, but he didn't go 1v1 every time. He kept it simple sometimes. And that's the way it's going to have to be.
It's a weird feeling, isn't it, Andros? I remember going to Hong Kong quite a lot pre-season tours, and you can't breathe, can you? It's like you're trying to sprint and you feel like you're going to like pass out from not being able to breathe. Do you think that the manager will have to make sure he's using the squad in this World Cup? You know, in those games where you're playing in those conditions, even the game, when we get to the last 16, if that's...
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, because we've been reporting it throughout the day here on talkSPORT, Somali referee, one of the top referees in African football, Omar Artan, has been refused entry to the United States. It seems he had a special visa because there were some concerns, I think. Somali's on the ban list in the USA, but obviously exemptions they felt had been made. But when it came to it, Omar Artan was not allowed into the country.
He's issued a very gracious statement wishing his colleagues well and saying he's going to carry on concentrating on becoming his best referee. I feel sad for him. It's really sad.
I mean, the reason he's been refused entry is nothing to do with his ability as a referee.
No.
He doesn't need to improve what he's doing. That's not. You're right. It's a very humble statement. Also, we've seen some footage of the treatment of the Senegal players and the Uzbekistan players, which isn't the kind of welcome you'd expect as a visiting nation at a World Cup. Christina Uncle is our refereeing expert here on talkSPORT for the World Cup and a former referee. She joins us now. Hi, Christina.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good morning here, but good afternoon to you all.
Thanks for joining us.
Saw your tweet earlier on, which is why we'd like to have a chat. You're obviously very disappointed and upset that Omar Artan's not been allowed to referee at the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different layers to be had here. And I'm just going to start off with just the natural human piece of to be an official at the World Cup. This is not a 4-year endeavor. This is an 8-year, 10-year endeavor. You have so much personal sacrifice of your time, time with family. Usually you end up sacrificing your job to pursue something that's never confirmed, right? You're only as good as your last game. And this is the 2025 CAF Referee of the Year, more than well-deserved, first Somali referee to take charge of a World Cup. And particularly, and I've said this before to others, offline, is there are certain countries I would not go into unless I was going on behalf of FIFA, because of FIFA's ability to get and ensure that your visa regulations and that you'd be safe and that, there would be no issues entering the country. So, for Omar, knowing that, yes, his country is on the ban list that the current administration has put. But usually when you typically go through FIFA, it's pretty much guaranteed that you're going to be going through, right? The proper channels, the accreditation, the certification. There's usually a front line to the immigration process in that way, particularly from a situation of, great stead. So it made me incredibly sick. It went through the referee community. The referees have been in camp since this past Sunday, so over a week in Miami. But that news circulated very, very quickly within our community that this individual, not because of anything he's done, not because of a past history, but just because he's being stereotyped from a country that he's at, is not allowed to come into. It's not a World Cup if you don't allow the world to come in. Very disheartening.
My immediate reaction, I totally agree, Chris. My immediate reaction is that FIFA, what they generally do, and a World Cup's on in a country or a couple of countries, they take over. They're almost like the government. They're in charge, but we're not seeing that this time. I think a lot of it has got to do with Infantino's relationship with the president and this administration, which I don't think is particularly helpful to this, because FIFA have been quick to say, well, in line with other World Cups, we would never get involved in other countries' immigration policy. But I totally agree with you. They normally rule the roost, and if they wanted this to happen, you kind of sense they could make it happen, which is doubly disappointing.
Well, it's actually interesting you say they rule the roost because we saw a lot, at least here internally. These stadiums are owned by cities, they're owned by counties, private, equity. And it's been interesting, where some stadiums have won the bids, yet they were also considering of retracting and coming out and standing out. So, typically a World Cup, when you're hosting it from an economic impact, I know that we do that review here in Tampa Bay, you lose money on some of these events actually when you allow FIFA to rule the roost, because there are a lot of, particularities that they request, taking ownership of an airport. And that, it probably also doesn't help that, football, or here in the United States called soccer, isn't one of the top 3, let alone top 4 sports in the world. So where the rest of the world, where FIFA would probably be having more ability and autonomy, here in the United States, they've seen a lot of pushback. And for American fans, particularly soccer fans who are trying to grow this game, it's very disappointing to say, welcome to the world, yet now we're getting pushback. And now we're showing why, unfortunately, the United States isn't equipped to host a tournament of this magnitude, of what is needed to be able to host a tournament of this magnitude.
And what about the pictures we've seen of the Senegal players and the Uzbekistan players on the tarmac being searched in a way that I'm guessing not all nations have been?
No, it's embarrassing. There's no other words to say it, but it's just completely embarrassing. One can have administration and your regulations, but there's a way to have a human rights component to it, right? Instead of keeping them on the tarmac, right? If there are certain protocols that need to be jumped through because of the administration, and obviously many of these people executing these protocols aren't part of the decision-making process, there's still a way to do this that's incredibly respectful, right? There's a way to bring them into, the facilities and to do inspection and check. And once again, it's not lost on me on what countries. It's not lost on many Americans. I need to qualify that, right? There are many Americans who do not agree with this process of what's going on. And it's just, again, it's a reminder that, and it's unfortunate, particularly for this building the game here in the United States, the chances of us hosting another World Cup after we've had this experience, we just see that opportunity go away.
Yeah.
Well, look, hopefully next time we'll be talking about the referee, and I'm sure we will be, Christina. But we appreciate you joining us today, and we will catch up with you during the tournament. Thanks very much.
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks,
Christina Uncle, our refereeing expert throughout this World Cup here on talkSPORT.
There's two marvellous bits of news. The FIFA have just announced their crypto partner for the tournament.
Yeah, that's get our priorities
so that's
right.
what we need. And you can have shout-outs for money. You can pay and have your name on the scoreboard for $79. That's very reasonable of them, isn't it?
Fantastic, yeah.
The Grifting World Cup.
The beautiful game. Good old, hashtag worse than Blatter. We thought we'd never see it, but somehow we have.
Yes.
Phil Nichol, comedian, joins us. Of course, the World Cup's happening in Canada as well, and that's where Phil was born in Scotland, but was brought up in Canada. Will be joining us for a chat. He's also an Evertonian, and we're going to be inside the England camp with Jonathan Northcroft, the co-author of a new book, taking us behind the scenes and the changes Thomas Tuchel made and the things he has learnt in his time as the England manager, which will hopefully benefit the team as they go to the World Cup. That's all to come, amongst a lot of other things as well. Just to remind you, George DeBell from The Cricketer joined us earlier on and told us his understanding was that he feared that Ben Stokes was going to step down as the England captain and quite possibly walk away from the England team completely. We're keeping an eye on that for you, and we will bring you that news if it does happen as soon as we get it. But we'll get the sports headlines next.
So what do you think of Chelsea keeping hold of him? How important is he to Chelsea?
Well, he's everything. He's the star. He's only got 7 years left on his contract, so the power might
Time is running out. He's probably sweating over it right now.
The power might be with the owners, but actually it's not fully with the owners, because if you've got a player who so desperately wants to get out, that's a toxic situation to be in. Now, hopefully the owners will have made that statement with Xabi Alonso, and then we'll make more statements with the players that they bring in. So not just to Cole Palmer, but to Mark Cucurella. You have to say he's one of the best left backs in the world. You have to, as annoying as he might be, and I get it, even coming from a Chelsea angle, you want him in your side, not against you.
You do.
Enzo Fernandez, one of the cleverest, technically brilliant players, because he's not quick, but the way his first touch, his second touch, his pass awareness, and he gets into the box. You know, that Chelsea number 8, who someone else used to do that back in the day. He's not quite as good as Frank, but he can do it. This is an absolutely key summer for Chelsea in terms of not just trying to bring those good players in now to challenge for the Premier League and Champions League, but actually not lose your best players that you've got already.
They finished 10th, as you have mentioned already, a season way below standards for Chelsea. I mean, what will be the minimum then, do you think, that Xabi Alonso has to bring to Chelsea this season? Because we do know that Chelsea managers don't last very long, but at some point they're going to have to stick with someone, surely.
Yeah. I mean, look, when they brought Graham Potter in, I think they put him on a 5-year contract. I think they're right.
A little bit later on in the show, we will be chatting to a winner of the World Cup for England. Jamie Cureton's just won the Seniors World Cup over in Thailand. He'll tell us more about that, and we're keeping a very close eye on the Ben Stokes story. More, which I'm sure is in the sports headlines with Tom Clayton.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Paul, thank you. Good afternoon. And starting with that, there's a suggestion that Ben Stokes could step away from the England cricket team entirely as he's investigated for an incident in a nightclub. He and Gus Atkinson are said to have been out past their midnight curfew. Cricket's regulator is also investigating. Here's George DeBell from the Cricketer magazine.
In proportion, how bad is it? I wouldn't want to end a career. Maybe suspend him for a game, if that's what it has to be. Set an example. But to end a great career like this, we can do better than that.
Elsewhere today, the independent football regulator is talking to West Ham following historical allegations about their co-owner. David Sullivan categorically denies he pressured young models into sex as the owner of the Daily and Sunday Sport. Without a criminal charge, Simon Jordan doesn't see how Sullivan can be forced into selling his stake at West Ham.
I don't see where the IFR goes with this, besides making a statement that we're in the business of making sure that our job is seen to be visible. He's a shareholder. How do they force him to sell his shares? How do they tell him what the share price of that scenario is? I'm assuming he might want to sell his shares anyway.
Iran's FA says the country's ticket allocation has been revoked 2 days out from the start of the World Cup. That means supporters who've already made plans will be unable to attend matches. After news that a Somalian referee was also blocked from entering the US, Ian Wright has hit out at organisers on his social media channels.
I feel for the American fans who are desperate for this. American soccer fans who are desperate for this, how embarrassed they must be. How embarrassing for them this must be. This is, you know what, this is the World Cup. This is a World Cup of chaos.
And it's talkSPORT's understanding that Kieran McKenna is increasingly likely to leave Ipswich this summer, with Fulham interested. Meanwhile, we understand Man City are in contract talks with Josko Gvardiol. More from talkSPORT.com.
talkSPORT News.
A Sudanese man's been arrested over what is being described as a sickening stabbing in Belfast. And for the first time, economics is one of the top 5 most popular subjects in England for an A-level. Sinead's got more at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With over 600 centres across the UK, most of which open 7 days a week, we're always there when you need us. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Plenty of future Martin Lewis money experts out there, I'm sure. Sunny spells and showers for most of us, some areas staying dry. Showers the most frequent in the north and west, wet across central and eastern Scotland too, feeling cool.
Hello.
same familiar story has come back to haunt England again.
Well, we have now been consistently back in the matches that matter. So it's the last step that we haven't been able to do.
If you don't get the right person in place, I think some of the really good work that Gareth's done could go out the window.
To win it with England, it is a dream come true for me. So if there's still anyone doubting, we have to convince them on the pitch.
Unbelievable! A Jude Bellingham overhead kick.
We have an amazing crop of players.
With England, we've always got a chance.
It's Kane and it's shown!
He is the most important player for sure. Goal scoring is just relentless.
Saka turning it onto his left foot. Oh, it's a beautiful goal.
The reason why they went for Thomas Tuchel is not to maintain the status quo, was to win.
We will try to go all the way. We will try to win this tournament.
We're going to win the World Cup, Bex.
Absolutely.
And so to the next instalment of the story.
Yeah, very interesting having watched that golden generation. Just looked at the absolute quality. At one point, there was just a roll call of players coming up out of the tunnel for the England games. And you thought, great player, great player, great player. Not necessarily a great team, which I think Thomas Tuchel is trying to arrive at, of course.
Well, even Gareth recognised that.
Yeah.
Tried to change it.
Absolutely. Jonathan Northcroft and Rob Draper from the Sunday Times have now written Inside England, behind the scenes of the Three Lions World Cup dream. And would they like to say Jonathan joins us now. Hi, Jonathan.
Good morning.
Yes, you're over there in the States ready for the start of the World Cup. Appreciate you joining us quite early like this. I've read some excerpts of the book. I found it really fascinating. I just what a kind of important the Senegal defeat was, you say in the book, to Thomas Tuchel going into this World Cup. Him and his coaches really did kind of take stock at that moment and realised they hadn't quite got used to the sort of pace and style of international football and made a lot of changes, didn't they?
They did. I mean, and I think that was a dividing line of his reign. It really sort of goes into phase one and phase two. Phase one was those first 4 games. When he came in, he was full of experimentation. I suppose you'd expect that as somebody new to the job, full of ideas. If you remember in the Senegal game, he actually tried playing 4-4-2 because he had this idea that the England team needs to play football that's as English as possible, Premier League football. So he even tried 4-4-2. That didn't work. But his takeaway from him and Anthony Barry, his assistant, and their coaches, spent a lot of the summer poring over what had gone wrong and how they could do better. And I think his big takeaway was he had too many players in the squad. He tried to do too much. He had long camps at that point and needed to bring a bit of tactical focus and maybe needed to make the hard decisions that he hadn't done up to that point. And you could argue that England managers hadn't done up to that point. From there, you see something that's much more like the Tuchel's England that we're now getting used to, where big players don't always play. And it seems a bit more sort of sharply focused on his ideas.
I always thought it was bold of him to take this job because he's on such a hiding to nothing. If we do flop at the World Cup, it's going to be, we know how people are going to react, what they're going to say. Should have been English, shouldn't have got a German, all that sort of thing. So he's on a bit of a hiding.
Do you think the reputational damage potentially? And let's try and be positive, but I know what you mean. It's true.
It's bold of him. He must have a lot of confidence in his own ability, which is a good thing.
Your book points out when he met the England hierarchy in an airport meeting room in Germany, he was so well prepared. And it goes back to something Piers Morgan was saying to Simon Jordan on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he said he met Tuchel and he couldn't believe the depth of his knowledge on all of these players. He said they certainly won't lose the World Cup being unprepared, Jonathan, will they?
Absolutely not. He's that kind of, Tuchel's nothing if not a kind of enthusiast, a kind of almost like he's got a mad scientist there about him. When he gets into something, he gets into every granular detail. In terms of the story of how he was appointed, there was a short list of 5 super elite coaches that the FA put together. It's kind of no secret that the first one they attempted to get was Pep Guardiola. Other names, Carlo Ancelotti, Klopp, Pochettino. Tuchel was actually the last one they were able to contact. They couldn't get him on the phone. They couldn't track him. But the funny thing was that once they spoke to him, he was kind of like, he was all in. He flipped just like that. So by the time they had that meeting in the airport, which was in a kind of secret room away from everyone, he had a PowerPoint. He had everything already sort of unloading from his mind about what he would do with these players, what he'd do with the team. But that's kind of him as a person. Once he gets into something, he sort of runs away with it, really.
I was also really impressed with the fact that he knew he couldn't build jeopardy into the camps because qualifying generally is quite easy for a team at England's quality. So he built the jeopardy in by setting up almost a hierarchy and letting players know where they sat in the pecking order. And the fact that Ollie Watkins said being left out of a squad was the kick up the bum I needed, it transformed the latter part of my season, would suggest it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's a club idea that the whole competition for places, but you're absolutely right. That going back to the Senegal and Andorra games, he looked at them and thought, well, England aren't very good when there's nothing kind of on it, and what we need is to sort of bring that kind of, I don't know, the intensity a Premier League team would have game to game to the camp. And the way he did it was, to sort of say there's 2 players per position. This is the hierarchy, you know, Kane's the most important, blah, 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 and you're all fighting with each other. He's been so frank with players about that, you know, to the point where some have been upset, to the point where, you know, on talkSPORT, he was quite frank about Jude Bellingham that summer. He's not afraid to express maybe difficult thoughts. And what's fascinating is, will that work? Because it's different to what Gareth was like.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, I'm still yet to be convinced about the way England play. I know him from Chelsea to be a great manager. I know he talks a good game. That thing that we saw today was very inspirational. But every time England play, you just think, you know, I'm just waiting for a performance.
You're waiting for a kind of DNA.
Hoping they'll get better and better throughout the World Cup and show us, you know, that thing where you want Bellingham to be Bellingham. You want Kane to play like he does for Bayern. That sort of idea.
Yeah. Look, the Serbia away game was absolutely fantastic. And you thought if England could do that, bottle that, they would force. But we haven't seen quite enough of that. The autumn was actually quite good. But around that, every time England have played a top 20 opponent, okay, it's been friendlies. They haven't won. Everything's building towards getting this team to peak in the next, you know, the week that lies ahead of us. And we don't know, but we're always in this situation covering England. There's always optimism and what ifs, and then it's when they face the big teams in tournaments that you find out. And that's just the classic sort of England cycle. I'd say that, in fairness to Tuchel, that Serbia away performance is as good as I've seen covering England. You know, I think you have to go back to maybe Capello won 5-1 against Croatia once and peak Sven, but haven't been. If you really think about the England journey, how many times have we really seen England play like, you know, wow football like we'd see the top Premier League teams in years?
What would constitute, finally, Jonathan? What would constitute a good World Cup for? Especially as he's been given a new contract for Tuchel. I mean, just winning it, getting to the final, to go and try and go maybe one better than Gareth at a World Cup. I mean, because he's following a man who took England into the latter stages of competitions. And although he did take a bit of flack at Gareth Southgate, he did get England to finals and semi-finals.
Extraordinary when you look at what Gareth did. I heard the Simon Jordan clip. I think Simon's right that he played on the way in. He's here to win. That is it's the second star on the shirt. There's footage of Tuchel actually you know, saying that to the players in the last week before they leave. But does he have to win it to keep his credibility? I'm not sure if he does, but I think he's got to go really close, and that's going to be difficult. There's no two ways around that. You know, it could be Senegal or Norway in the round of 32, Mexico and Mexico City, Brazil in the quarterfinals, Argentina, and then Spain or France. And when you really, can England win all those games on the bounce? But he might have to, I think, get to the semi-finals for the nation to come away and think, yeah, bringing this guy in was worth it, and we're, you know, he carries on for the next
and play well, you know.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. You know, that would be.
Will we care if but we'd like to see him play well, but if they kept winning, not playing particularly, but growing into a.
But that only works if you win it.
Sure.
If they go out playing poorly, then people go.
We were talking to Terry Butcher last week, and look at England in Italia '90. Weren't great in a lot of the games.
No, that's what I said.
But
that's what tournaments are.
That was they're a kind of legendary team now. They got beaten in a semi-final, playing brilliantly, and their best performance was that semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I suppose that, you know, look, as a German coach, Thomas Tuchel will know full well. It's not all about playing well in every game in a tournament. Tournament football's different. Germany have proved that time after time, haven't they?
Yeah. And look, they've been practicing penalties already. They've been doing that in Palm Beach. So, he does know that it might have to be ugly at times. I think of 2022, England went out in the quarters, but actually did play well and were exciting. So maybe that's an example of how you don't have to go all the way. But again, the whole point of this is achievement. The whole point of this is to go that one step further than Gareth. And when you think how far Gareth went, that is a really, really tall order.
Yeah, true. Book's out now, I take it, Jonathan, is it?
Yeah, it came out a couple of weeks ago. It's an updated version of the book Rob and I have been working on for a few years. There's 4 new chapters covering the Tuchel era, and it's in paperback now, so you can take it on your travels.
Excellent. And maybe we'll catch up with you during the tournament. Thanks very much, Jonathan.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Jonathan Northcroft and Rob Draper's book, Inside England, Behind the Scenes of the Three Lions World Cup Dream, is out now. So, still to come this afternoon, comedian Phil Nichol can talk a bit of Canada. We've not really talked about Canada at the World Cup and Canada's chances, and even the World Cup being in Canada, unfortunately. So we will put that right with Phil very shortly.
I got a note about ticket prices in Vancouver. It's no better than it is in America.
Really? Oh, you've got your cousins, your wife's cousins over there. And we're going to look at some of the tactics and the way the football may be played, not just by England, but a lot of the nations. Dean Scoggins, who writes a fine tactics column in The Sun, will be joining us to chat about that later. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation. Only got time for one stop. First stop, Toolstation.
Like, without Harry Kane, we are screwed.
He dropped quite deep again. I don't mind.
You know what's annoying me, right? And I've been seeing it on social media, right? People winding me up already, all right? If I hear England fans coming on here moaning about Harry Kane dropping deep, I swear I'm going to lose my head.
I totally agree.
I'm going to lose my head. The guy has scored 50 goals this season.
61.
He scored 61 goals.
In all competitions.
He scored 61 goals, right? And people are moaning about him dropping deep. When are people going to understand that is how Harry Kane plays?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, he is, that is his game. He drops deep, he gets in pockets, he's hard to pick up, and then he'll find the box.
He starts the build-up.
Yeah, and it's like, come on, guys. I don't want to be hearing Harry Kane's dropping deep, Harry Kane's dropping deep. Like, we know now that is his game. Yeah. That is how he plays. He scored 60 goals.
As long as we fill the space that he drops out.
Well, that's why you have Rashford and that's why you have Saka.
That's what you need, runners from deep. You do.
Well, people say Ivan Toney should start. We should start Ivan Toney because, he stays up there. We need someone who's going to, lead the line. Mate, drop me out. Drop me out. It does my head in.
No, I'm totally in agreement with you, mate. That's what he does. That's his game. And under Tuchel at Bayern Munich, he played that way, and he's mastered his craft. Look, you obviously, when the ball is built up in the wider areas, you want Kane in the middle. Obviously in the high and wide.
Yeah.
Because he can do the most damage.
Well, he scored a great goal with the ball. He got his glancing header. He's just got magic in his body. He just knows where to score goals from anywhere.
He does.
It just winds me up. I don't want to hear it. If he's dropping deep. He's hot and he's probably gonna sit in that little number 10 role every now and then. Do you know what I mean? As long as you get bodies past him.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Rashford and that and runners in beyond. Like, just let Harry Kane play his game, because without him we're nothing. We're nothing. And it just winds me up. So,
okay, all right, you've had your rent.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
Just to let you know, we spoke earlier on to George DeBell from The Cricketer, and his understanding is that we could be expecting an announcement from Ben Stokes, which could be him stepping down as captain, not potentially just that, also stepping away from England cricket and retiring, which is a bit of a shock. Interested to get your take on what's going on. Does the punishment fit the crime? We don't know what the crime is yet. This is the thing. They may have been completely innocent. Yes, they maybe shouldn't have been there because of the curfew, but really, to step away from cricket would feel a touch OTT. So your thoughts, 03717 223344, talksport.com, text 81089, tweet to TSH and J, and once we get that statement, if we get that statement, we'll bring it to you. But we're going to talk now to, and we've got Canada, of course, in the World Cup, as well as the States and Mexico. Phil Nicol was brought up there and supports many of the Canadian sports teams such as the Blue Jays and the Maple Leafs, but he's an Everton fan.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Phil. Good to see you.
How are you guys doing?
So why Everton?
Well, when I first came over to the UK, it was like in the early 90s. One of my best friends in Wrexham was a little Scouse guy called Roy O'Brien. And he said, "You're not being a Premiership match." And he went, "I've got an extra ticket." And it was a relegation. Charlton versus Everton. They won 2-1. It was Goodison Park. The atmosphere was amazing.
Yeah.
Walter Smith was the manager. I was born in Scotland. They had 4 Scottish nationals on Everton, including the Dunk Ferguson's first appearance. And there was bagpipes come out, and they're blue and white. And I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. So the whole thing fell into place. I thought, well, you could easily barrack for one of the best teams in the league. I thought I'll just barrack for one of the worst teams in the league.
Well, yeah, I mean, things have picked up a bit. Yeah. So you're a busy man at the Edinburgh Festival, Phil. You're doing 2 shows and a play.
I am 2 shows a play, and I'm doing a cabaret show for the last 2 weeks. I'm hosting the Cray Cray Cabaret, but I mean, I'm doing.
That's how to make Edinburgh work, though, financially.
This is it. It's so expensive up there now that you have to do loads of work. But I thought I'm there anyway, and I've got a Scottish work ethic, so that's.
So aren't we lucky?
Yeah,
that's the new show.
That's the new one. That's probably the most important one. If you're going to come and see one up there, that would be the one I'd like you to see. It's the one I've been working on all year. It's not really quite together yet. So, but it's sort of about being appreciative of what we've got. You know, I think there's a lot of negativity in the world, and I thought I just had this epiphany that maybe we should be focusing on the things we do have instead of the things that we're losing, and try and work from that. So it's kind of based around a story about Lou. My friend played with Lou Reed band, and when Lou Reed died, he wrote this song called "Aren't We Lucky?" And when I heard the song, I was like, "That's gorgeous."
Yeah.
And he said it's something that Lou Reed used to say all the time on tour. "Aren't we lucky?" Just to remind everyone. I mean, Lou Reed's went through the ringer, you know. He has electric shock treatment and heroin addiction, everything. So for a man like that to make it through, be married to Laurie Anderson the rest of his life and turn his life around, and to have that attitude was, I thought I'm going to try and pass that on to the Edinburgh audience.
Now, the other show, The Naked Racist, we'd like to point out you're not a racist.
Well,
but there could be...
Don't say that.
Yeah, there could be nudity.
There could be nudity.
Is that you or the audience?
There's me, there's a band.
Yeah.
The technician gets naked. When I did it at the Garrick Theatre in London, I had about 40 naked dancers dancing to the crowd, doing sort of a mock-up of 60s anti-war culture.
Wow.
Throwing flowers. And what I had people in the audience, like marks, who would get up and take their tops off to try and get other people around them. And we got quite a few people with.
So people get, it's like Salem. People get swept along, do they? They get swept up in the moment.
They do indeed. I collected a lot of bras.
Okay, well, it sounds so that one. And then you did it many years ago. We were just chatting about our mate, the late great Andy Smart, who was part of this. You did 12 Angry Men, and you took it round the world, didn't you? And there's some great comedians in it. And
that was the unique thing about it, wasn't it? That it wasn't actors as such; it was comedians.
The old Henry Fonda movie.
Yeah, that's right. It's a great thing. I think most people know it, just because if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. 12 Angry Men.
Oh yeah.
But we had Bill Bailey was in it. Owen O'Neill, Jeff Green. I mean, the cast was Andy Smart, Steve Frost, the big Steve Frost, Ian Coppinger. So we all did that, travel around the world with it, went really well, had a blast. I mean, traveling with comedians.
Yeah,
we were sitting in the hotel bar in the lobby of the Hilton at about 5 o'clock in the morning, having the 12 of us having sat around drinking, and the guy came out and said the bar is closed, and I was like, it was just going 6, and I was like, what time's your champagne breakfast start? And he went, 6. I went, can we have 12? Hold the breakfast.
But Terry Alderton, Andrew Maxwell, Stephen K. Amos, Joe Pasquale.
Joe Pasquale.
Yeah.
Really? Yep. First time Joe's been to Edinburgh as well.
Wow.
But this is a different version. This is a spoof, isn't it?
This is 11 and a half Angry Men.
Yeah, this is, because Ian Coppinger is only about 5 foot tall.
Right. Okay.
And so Owen O'Neill, as they couldn't really get the rights for us to do it, because it did go into the West End with a different crew. But Owen O'Neill wrote the spoofs in order to try and get the thing going. It really works. It's really fun. If you don't have to know the original to understand this version either.
Okay.
But with that cast, it better be funny, or else we'll be.
And so Canada, have you been speaking to people back home? What's the mood ahead of the World Cup? Are they looking forward to it?
Well, you know what? Canadians are still wrapped up in the
hockey's on.
The Stanley Cup. But even though the Leafs had a dismal season, it's still like that is probably the biggest week of the year. So they'll probably move towards Canada getting. And when's it start? Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's good that they're in. It's good that they made it. Yeah, it's football. It's football, though. Anything can happen. Upsets happen. That's what's so exciting about the World Cup.
What about
Scotland could win the World Cup?
They could, yeah. Well, they could.
They could.
Well, they've had it. They're very well in the friendly. So, what about attitudes towards them? Soccer, if you like, in Canada. What do sort of people feel about the game there? Is it big or?
It's not huge. It's not massive. But I remember they do have I don't know what it was called then, but it was the NASL, I think it was. And my dad, being Scottish, took us to see games. And I remember going to see the Toronto Metro, and they were playing New York, and at the time there was Beckenbauer and Pele were playing on the same team.
Yeah, that's right, for Cosmos. Yeah,
and the stadium was packed with mostly people from the UK.
Yeah,
and
well, Whitecaps, Vancouver Whitecaps were the big Canadian team at that time, and they Peter Beardsley played.
That's right.
Quite a few players.
Yeah, you got a lot of great players going through that, so there is an interest in it. I just think that because it's so cold half the year, I think curling's more the way people go. Don't not talk about the curling.
My wife's cousin lives in Vancouver, and he sent me this the other day. He said he goes to the Whitecaps, and it costs him $55.
Yeah.
Right. The same ticket for the World Cup is $2,000 to $3,000.
No, really? Will they not come down nearer? I mean,
I don't know.
There's been a lot of sort of grifting tickets-wise at this World Cup.
Yeah, we don't know, do we? Because there's kind of a lot of misinformation about what's happening.
First-round matches are anywhere from $1,000. That's the highest level in the stadium.
Who can afford that?
But they're popping up on resale sites much cheaper.
Yeah,
people are thinking, I'll get top dollar for this, and when they don't, they just want to shift them late. So maybe some people hold their nerve, maybe.
Well, they want to have the stadium full as well for the sake of the game.
Sure. You'd like
seats at the World Cup. So
Phil, I see you've just done a big makeover on your website. So all the details of your gigs and the shows and click-throughs to tickets and stuff.
Should be. Yep. Should all be up on the website. And if it's not, that's my fault. And I'll get it up as ASAP.
PhilNichol.com. That's NICHOL.com. And all the information. Well, have a good Edinburgh.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can I just do a shout out to John and Gail Summerskill listening in Ripponden?
Yeah.
I got engaged about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, congratulations!
And they're going to be my in-laws.
Oh,
so I told them
you're trying to keep on the right side of the in-laws.
Exactly. I told them I was going to be on talkSPORT. I thought a big shout out to West Yorkshire.
Oh, fantastic!
Did the Halifax massive? Halifax, Halifax.
Cheers, Phil. All the best.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, Phil Nicol. Dee Allen, fellow comedian Phil, will be in a bit later on. She's going to watch every game from this World Cup, even though she's going to be doing a show in Edinburgh, even the 3 o'clock kickoffs, even the ones you wouldn't normally watch. Every game, she says, can she keep it up? We'll be chatting to her. She's a big Watford fan as well. So that's all to come. We're going to touch on the cricket a little bit more in a few moments' time and what's going on with Ben Stokes, which seems to be moving on a pace. More on that in a few moments' time.
You just mentioned a couple of players there. Is Jude Bellingham one of your clutch players?
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course he is. I mean, Morgan Rogers is a good player, but Jude Bellingham is a world-class player. And despite the fact that maybe Jude's going through a phase in his career where people are not taking to him, and maybe there's some issues about some of his disposition, yeah, I hear certain things in Madrid from relatively reliable sources that there's no relationship between Bellingham and Mbappe. The two egos can't be in the same room. And that's maybe why Mourinho's been brought back in to try and get some order in place. But let's be under no illusion. Jude Bellingham is a game changer and a winner and a world-class footballer. And if after 75 minutes you change him for Morgan Rogers, ooh, what a hardship that is. But Jude Bellingham, by any measurement, any rational measurements, should be in the starting lineup because he is a world-class footballer. And and we've got probably 3 or 4 of them in the team, and he's one of them.
You've said that Tuchel's been brought in to win.
Yeah.
What happens if he doesn't? What's the attitude towards him if he doesn't?
Bente loses. And that's not me giving him a get-out-of-jail card. I just gave you an example. If you were to play the French in the final of the World Cup, some hypothetical scenario, and we to play a game where we're bold and we play on the front foot and we're not waiting for the opposition to do something to us, we're at the opposition, taking advantage and opportunities, and we go to a penalty shootout because both teams have played a wonderful game and drawn 2-0 and we lose because someone misses a penalty. What do? Say to Thomas Tuchel, you failed. I know in the binary world that I would have it sometimes. You either win or you lose. Everyone can come second. It's not difficult. Just turn up. But there is a way that England... I'm looking at this tournament going, for once, beat someone that we, on paper, can't or wouldn't be expected to, and then we'll build from that. So in every tournament, I know we beat the Germans, but this was not the Germans of previous times, so we can't use that as an example. So I'm looking at it and going, if we draw one of these sides that on paper that we don't beat and the Thomas Tuchel factor comes in, then we'll build from there and we'll cross each bridge when it comes.
Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson could be dropped for the second test with New Zealand next week. It's after an incident in a nightclub in the early hours of Monday morning. England's cricketers were already subject to a midnight curfew following allegations of a drinking culture. Here's Wisden editor Lawrence Booth.
Stokes was part of the management team that imposed that curfew, and he is the one who's now turned around and broken it. So it's very hard now, I think, for him to hang on to the authority that he's had over this team, and England face a very difficult decision.
The independent football regulator is talking to West Ham following historical allegations about their co-owner. David Sullivan categorically denies he pressured young models into sex as owner of the Daily and Sunday Sport. Without a criminal charge, Simon Jordan doesn't see how Sullivan can be forced into selling his stake at West Ham.
I don't see where the IFR goes with this, besides making a statement that we're in the business of making sure that our job is seen to be visible. He's a shareholder. How do they force him to sell his shares? How do they tell him what the share price of that scenario is? I'm assuming he might want to sell his shares anyway.
We understand Leeds keeper Carl Darlow is a target for Man United this summer. The last player to move from Leeds to Old Trafford was Alan Smith in 2004. And the administrator suspended for asking what former World Cup winner Maggie Alfonsi knows about men's rugby has quit. Matthew Smith has stood down from representing Warwickshire at the RFU. There is more at talksport.com.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Yes, as you've just been hearing, the FIFA World Cup kicks off on Thursday. talkSPORT will be sending you and a mate straight to New York to see England live with Adidas, the tournament's official match ball sponsor. We're going to be talking a trip to watch England face Panama, return flights, hotel, match tickets, spending money, all taken care of, plus Adidas throwing in the official try-on match ball and a fresh pair of boots. So, Andy, how'd you win all of that?
Well, for your chance to win, head to talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by 4 p.m. this Friday. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. It's a TalkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. Your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 right now.
It's Hawksbee and Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Just a reminder, by the way, that we mentioned it yesterday. You may have seen some stuff on social media. Although Dee Allen, who's going to join us in the studio, the comedian, to talk about her new show, and even the fact that she's going to be working flat out at Edinburgh, she's going to watch every World Cup game, which isn't easy considering some of the kickoff times. We're going to be coming to you between 10 and 1. So we're switching with Jim and Simon for the World Cup, 10 in the morning to 1 at lunchtime. And we won't be able to do what Dee's doing and watch every game. We won't be fit for purpose in the mornings if we do. So we're looking, with a nod to our old mate Ian Collins' old overnight show, we're looking for some creatures of the night. One or two of you have been volunteering along the way already, which is good of you. Jill said, I'm up always around 3 a.m. talking to my friends over in the States on YouTube. So just tell me what games you want me to cover. Thank you, Jill. We'd like a little army of people that maybe work overnight. Obviously, if you're driving, if you're a cab, but if you're in the office, if you're the controller, you can probably do it for us. It might be a little bit more difficult if you're on a motorway or something. So we're looking for people that are sort of nocturnal creatures, maybe new mums and dads are going to be up in the night.
Tell us why you're up.
Yeah, tell us why you're up, and we'd like you to supply little voice notes. But first, register your interest. We'll tell more about it, but you could be one of our army of the creatures of the night. 03717223344. It would be if you give us a call sort of now, 03717223344. Have a chat with our producer and register your interest. And we'll give you some more information. You also get in touch, talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089 or tweet to TSH&J. That's TSHANDJ. And we look forward to chatting to you or hearing from you during the World Cup.
We're going to have a prediction competition as well.
Yeah, since all the turkey's back, he worked for FIFA. He's not working for FIFA anymore in protest.
That's right.
He stepped away from
Not happy about
Doesn't
it.
want anything to do with them now. Very much an independent. But Tinsel is our predictive turkey. We troll out for every World Cup. And you could be taking him on in a tipsters competition.
So winner stays on. So you could go right the way through the tournament.
One game. We're looking for one game every day. The big game of the day. You head-to-head with Tinsel. And you get the idea. So we should turn to cricket. We were slightly blindsided by George Debelle from The Cricketer earlier on, their senior correspondent there. He revealed some news about Ben Stokes following that nightclub incident the early hours of Monday morning.
I fear, from everything I hear, that Stokes is going to act first. And regretfully, I hear that he is going to step down and possibly even retire. I think that would be hugely regrettable, and I hope he doesn't. I hope he stands and fights his ground with, which is the Ben Stokes we know. I hope he brings this back from the brink like he has done so many games. But everything I hear is that he may well have been given some sort of ultimatum, but I fear that probably within the day we'll have heard that he stood down, and I think that's a damn shame, and I don't think it's necessary.
It would be a real shame, really sad for him, sad for English cricket, and it should never have got to this point.
I
hope it isn't true, but it does sound like its momentum is gathering.
We've had some England cricket fans getting in touch. Graham says, while Stokes should step down, he certainly shouldn't retire. Better to emulate Botham. He trudged off at Lords, but came back and secured a place in history. Yeah, that is true. Maybe Stokes is looking for a way out, says Nick. He's had injury problems and he's off form. He knows the rules. Probably doesn't care too much. I think he does. I think it's pretty obvious he does care.
He really
thinks he has done one test too many and is manipulating an exit. Well, that's one take on it, Nick. I'm not sure that's right.
Take that is.
What a load of mealy-mouthed nonsense, says Graham. He's back again. Of course, Stokes should step down. He was the man to make sure he got his team on side, following the rules, and he dropped the ball to minimise that, and even worse, blame Rob Key is ridiculous. So everybody's been weighing in on that. Talksport.com, text 8 to 8.
People are funny, aren't they?
Tweet TS H&J. The bottom line is we don't really know what happened, do we?
No.
At the moment, we don't know whether... Well, we know they shouldn't have been there. But as George was saying earlier on.
But if it's true, it sounds like he thinks he did nothing wrong.
Yeah,
which is why you would go.
They weren't particularly aware of this situation that was in place. But our own Andrew McKenna was sending me a couple of messages earlier on. I mean, it was apparently Rob Key who implemented the curfew just a few months ago because of what had happened previously. So certainly the captain would know that his director of cricket had put a curfew in place. So I think you need a bit of clarity before you make a decision. But I mean, if Rob Key and Brendan McCullum, who get on very well with Ben Stokes, could just sit him down, say, take a deep breath, have 24 hours, don't do a flounce. Because he's probably upset that the reaction has been to immediately blame him and Gus Atkinson when they probably feel like the injured party. I'm just guessing.
No, but look at the reaction that we've had. People they want blood. It's the old thing, isn't it? So people, if he doesn't resign or they don't get, people will be going, oh, he's got to go. I think it's wrong.
If the facts get out there and they tell a different story, normally breaking a curfew like that would probably be a rap on the knuckles, maybe one game at a push or a fine.
It's the context of the
It is. That's the problem, yeah. That of what happened to Ben Stokes before and what's happened to England recently with the incidents in Australia with Duckett and Brooke and other players as well. So, Michael Elise got a hat-trick last night, albeit in a friendly against North. I think Northern Ireland's goal was decent as well. But Elise, he was a Johnny on the spot for the first one, reacted to a deflection. The second one, he absolutely drilled. He's only about 16 yards out, but he cracks it in and he gets over the top of it. And the technique, I mean, on the face of it, doesn't look like much, but it's keeper's not going to save that. And the third is a classic Elise cut-in, which he just sort of loops into the top corner. And you do feel, if he plays anything like his potential, he's just going to be a massive star this World Cup, isn't he? You can just sense it. And it was interesting, our own Natalie Sawyer on the station the other day said she'd heard a story from someone that he went to Spurs quite young and they weren't sure about his attitude and kind of let him go.
Well, originally he was at Chelsea.
Yeah. So the thing is, I don't think it's an attitude problem. I think it's kind of... He doesn't want any part of the whole media circus. He deliberately doesn't offer the media anything, does he? Whenever you see him interviewed, it's like he's doing it at gunpoint. but that's, I mean, I don't think it's a tactic.
Yeah.
I think that's just what he's like. He just wants to play his football.
We sort of enjoy him as a footballer, don't you?
Yeah. But there are, if he comes out of this World Cup and he's this massive world star, there becomes more pressure on him to give more of his time. But he's not going to do that. He's utterly uncompromising.
But they changed, don't they? Messi never used to speak to anybody, and the Argentinian press.
I don't. Well, look, I could be wrong, but
he's changed over the years.
When Graham Norton goes on holiday, Michael Elise will not be sitting in for him.
No,
I don't think you're going to see any change in that till the day he retires, possibly with a couple of Ballon d'Ors. But he is just playing sensationally well.
Players, they grow up in the limelight. So yeah, I'd imagine he would change.
Anyway, Creatures of the Night, as we said, 03717223344. Our next guest could well become one of our Creatures of the Night because her show Raumdeuter, which is a phrase coined by Thomas Muller, no less, who, as far as I know, didn't play for Watford. But Diallam is a Watford fan. I'm guessing an England fan. Will be chatting to her about her new show and watching every game at this World Cup, despite being up in Edinburgh. In a few moments' time, we're here with our very good friends at Toolstation. Make the switch to the Toolstation Trade Club. Save 10% on all electrical and lighting when you buy cable and flexes. First stop, Toolstation.
Obviously, we've got you on to talk about France and the French squad. How confident is the country of going all the way? Because every single person I speak to, and I say, who's going to win it? Everyone I've spoken to says France first.
When you look at the squad, I think we can say we favourites to win the tournament. But I don't know. I've got to say I'm a bit worried because I've watched the last few games and we are conceding goals, and I don't know, Mbappe looks like he's not in his best shape yet. And, I think coming into the World Cup when you're heavy favourites is not easy. So, I don't know. I think we'll be up there, but there's other teams that can win it as well.
France have got an outstanding forward line, haven't they, Neil? I mean, look at Elise's form, Dembele, Mbappe, Barcola, Doué. But like you says, is it the defence? Maybe a full-back, left-back, right-back? Do you think that's where they might let themselves down?
I think that the defence is a bit of a problem right now. I've seen a stat yesterday watching the game. I think in the last... they've conceded a goal in the last 5 or 6 games, and that hadn't happened in years, I think. So, which for me is not a good sign before a tournament. And also, like you said, we've got a lot of amazing forwards and.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
Well, we're chatting to Dee Allam in the studio. Dee's show is called Raumdeuter, and in advance of Dee coming in, we were told Dee will be watching every game in this World Cup, despite being up at the Edinburgh Festival. And Dee has just said, "Am I? Who told you that?" So it looks like you are now.
Yeah, I have to now.
You better have a word with your agent.
Yeah, I will do. But now that it's been said on the radio now officially. It's the law. I'm stuck.
You're going to have to. I mean, were you planning to watch a lot of games anyway? Because I suppose what time are you on in Edinburgh? What time's your? Oh, it's 4:10.
Yeah, I'm 4:10 in Edinburgh. Also, Edinburgh's in August, so will be over by then.
Oh yeah,
I'll be fine.
Yeah, oh, that's right. So you are planning to watch a lot of games anyway.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are a bit insane. I think if we finish second in the group, England that is, I think our round of 32 game would be at something like 3 a.m.
Right,
so
really?
I think, yeah. You look like you're ready for bed already.
Well, Andy has just gone through I think at the moment Andy's only watching 6 games.
Right. Okay.
But,
have you been through the entire
6
fixture
countries.
list?
I just there's 104 games. You can't. I've already in my professional life watched 51 out of 54 for the 1994 World Cup.
Right.
It's enough. I mean, I reckon. I just like the big teams. I can't be bothered with all the other.
Oh, you're such an elitist.
I know, but what's the point?
You're not going to be tuning into Jordan, Uzbekistan.
Definitely
Yeah,
not.
that's Algeria versus Jordan.
No chance.
No, okay. I'm just trying to find. I mean, like for example, on late nights and all that. But Brazil, Morocco, 11 o'clock on Saturday.
I watched
night.
that.
You'll stay up. You'll stay up.
That'd be a good game.
Yeah, great.
Morocco, good. Brazil are good. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you rooting for anybody? Or England, I'm guessing.
I mean,
beyond England.
England is good. I mean, Scotland, I've got a Scottish granny. She'd be very upset if I didn't specify.
Oh, Scotland games, definitely.
Yeah.
Scotland's exciting. I think it's hard rooting for Scotland because you know they're not rooting for us. You know,
Yeah.
like
I
you
don't
know
have
that they don't have our best interests at heart at all.
I don't have that conflict. I must say, we got Scottish mates and we got friends who are going out there with the Tartan Army. And I want them to have a good time. I want Scotland to do well. Not at England's expense.
I don't.
Oh, don't you?
No, of course not.
What do you want? Do you want Scotland to lose? Why?
Absolutely, because it's always very funny when they have to come home.
Well, look, it's likely to happen anyway, with or without your help. I'm going to enjoy seeing them play.
Whoever plays well, and that's the best thing. But, obviously, a bit of Schadenfreude wouldn't be the worst thing.
Now,
I'm rooting for Curacao as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think
love
everybody
Curacao
will
to
be.
do a little bit. They're the first, not really a full country to ever qualify for a World Cup.
Oh, really?
Apart from Scotland, obviously.
They're going to be the Dutch.
my
The Dutch.
guide.
We were reading about. We may be having a chat, hopefully, with the mayor of Rotterdam.
Yeah, this
That's
is fascinating.
tough booking. There's basically five countries they're rooting for because of the old sort of Rotterdam sort of
60% of the population of Rotterdam isn't Dutch, so they have all this big,
big Turkish contingent.
Right.
So they're going to be rooting for 5 countries. There
I think the thing is as well in the World Cup, what you want, and we were talking about this a lot recently, that football is so much better when both teams want to win.
Yeah.
And I do fear that in a lot of these big team versus small team, you know what we're going to get. I know it's their only way of getting
Low blocks.
Low blocks, 11 behind the ball, and blah, it doesn't make for a great spectacle. But they're not bothered about that. They just want to get through.
Your show, Dee, is called Raumdeuter. I said it's a phrase. I mean, it's probably the first time we've ever spoken to somebody who's gone up with Edinburgh with a quote from Thomas Muller.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich
well
and
done.
Germany.
I mean, I can't believe it's not been done. It's such a rich vein for comedy.
Well, how did you come across the word?
Well, so I'm a fan of Football Manager. I play quite a lot of Football Manager. And in Football Manager, there's different kind of positions that you can set for players, different kind of roles. And one of them is Raumdeuter, which means space interpreter.
Right.
And basically, Thomas Muller came up with it to describe what he does on a football pitch, which is just kind of like hang out in the forward area, not quite a striker, not quite a winger, just kind of hanging out and causing mischief. And I think that's a really good word.
Okay.
The Star published a whole list of terms exactly like that the other day. Like a Stoffschwieger.
What's a Stoffschwieger?
That's Dutch for a vacuum cleaner. It describes a holding midfielder who cleans up possession. A sweeper but better. And there's a whole load of them.
That's good.
So, yeah.
That's really good.
I'm sure about dong ball.
Who?
Dong ball.
Dong ball. That's
I'm
not playing that.
I've seen plenty of that as a Watford fan.
This is a term for a rubbish kick or shot, literally translating to poop ball, apparently.
Poop ball.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I've seen plenty of that as a Watford fan. Absolutely. Great. Okay.
So here you are on talkSPORT. We know Thomas Muller is, but when you're probably elsewhere promoting your show and they say, why Raumdeuter? You say, well, it's they must give you a bit of a 1,000-yard stare when you start talking about Thomas Muller and players that like to score.
A little bit, yeah. So, I mean, the show's about two things. One is Thomas Muller, and one is about getting surgery as a trans person. And there's no two.
That's quite a gear shift, isn't it?
Quite a gear
I
shift.
would imagine.
So there's no
two main themes.
No one gets the whole show. Everyone has some part of the show that they really just don't get on board with at all. But it also means that there's something for everyone. So if you're mainly into Thomas Muller, you can come and see it for that.
I enjoyed the show, but I walked out the Thomas Muller stuff. I was never a big fan of his. So,
that's so fair.
Yeah.
It's been said before.
So. You're going to be at the Pleasance Courtyard upstairs at 4:10.
4:10, yeah.
It's a good time to be on. No, it's a
good slot. Yeah,
it's a good slot because if you go, I used to go to Edinburgh for about 20 years running, and if you, all of the shows that are on at 7 or 8 o'clock, you can't see them all if you're only there for 4 or 5. Whereas you're really grateful for something really good in the afternoons.
Yeah,
I think that's
a lovely afternoon kickoff.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, late afternoon kickoff.
Yeah,
definitely. That starts when you're starting 5th to the 30th, having the 18th off.
Yes.
Shirker.
So what game are you watching for us Thursday night? What have we got for you?
Okay,
Thursday night.
Thursday. Okay, first game. Well, ideally, Dee, if you want to call us on Friday, having watched South Korea versus the Czech Republic.
Oh, I'll be there.
3 a.m.
Fantastic. You can leave us a voice note.
I mean, Vladimir Sofal is in my World Cup fantasy team. You will absolutely see me tuning in.
Okay, 3 a.m. there on ITV. South Korea versus the Czech Republic. We're here from your Friday morning with a little voice note telling us what you made of the game.
Yeah, I'll have a full tactical breakdown ready.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Good.
Great.
We're not joking, by the way.
No, we mean.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Listen, someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be there.
So Watford. I was doing a bit of research. I thought, who's the manager this week? And it would appear that the Pozzos are going Italian again.
Yes.
And this is. I just had some details on him. Where's it all gone?
Do you think the Pozzos ever look in the mirror and think, perhaps we should stay with the manager for once?
Alessio.
It's never worked.
They may have just picked a couple of Italian names out of nowhere, but I've had a look. Alessio Dionisi, apparently.
Yeah.
Who's had a kind of mixed career, has taken teams up into Serie A, had some success. Less so more recently, but this was about 2 or 3 days ago. Apparently, they were working on a contract.
Okay. I mean, I don't like that at all. I mean, we've had a lot of Italian, sort of Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, we've had Walter Mazzari. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
We had Javi Gracia twice, Quique Sanchez Flores twice. Just a lot of kind of Southern Europeans. I think soon we'll be on to Super Mario, be on to Manuel from Fawlty Towers. Yeah. Anyone else, with an EU passport? I think
who would you like to see them? You've tried one of the stills more recently, haven't you?
The lesser known, the lesser spotted still.
Yeah, that's right.
Ed Still. It didn't go very well. He's gone. We've tried. I think we have tried every single person on the planet. If you're listening to this, I think there's a pretty good chance that you have been Watford manager at some point.
I think, that's a good chance. You're never more than 10 yards away from.
What's odd about them is that they'll, Watford will be like 7th or 8th. They'll be on the verge, and they'll still fire the manager. I get it, firing. Like, if you're down the bottom of the table or you're looking like you're going down, that's one thing. But they so often get rid of a guy for sort of virtually what feels like no reason. I mean, I'm not a Watford fan. Maybe there is a reason.
I mean, we had Tom Cleverley for a season.
He was
did pretty
popular,
well.
wasn't he?
He was very popular. I mean, he obviously played for us for a long time, was captain, became the manager, seems to do pretty well. And then they got rid of him. We had who was it? We had someone else who.
Yes, I can't blame you for not remembering. No one's going to judge you on that.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of managers, isn't
there?
A
lot of managers.
It's almost like a mastermind specialist subject, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't name them all. I really couldn't. And I'm a big fan. But over the last, I think it's 2013 that they took over, and since then it's been at least 1.5 a year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, we'll hear from you Friday then, having stayed up to watch that game.
Great.
Raumdeuter is D. Allen's show at Pleasance Courtyard upstairs, 5th to the 3rd, if not the 18th. At 4:10 in the afternoon. Good to see you, Dee. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Lovely. It's Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Our own Max Rushton will be with Charlie tomorrow on the show. Live from LA he'll be coming. He's going to join us to preview that, talk a bit of World Cup. He's there on the ground. We'll get all the colour from him. Dean Scoggins is going to talk about some of the tactics and some of the approaches we're going to see from the players in the heat of the USA, Mexico and Canada. And Jamie Cureton's already won the World Cup for England seniors. They stuffed the French 4-0 over in Thailand in the final, and we'll glory in that with Jamie, the former Bristol Rovers and Reading frontman, a little bit later on.
People in the pub aren't sitting around in the pubs talking about accessibility. We are. The media are. We're creating conversations to be able to confect outrage, to be able to create content. Most people accept it. They accept the reality of the circumstances that these premium games, these premium tournaments have a caveat which means that ultimately they're beyond the reach of most people. That doesn't make it right. I'm not arguing for the right and wrong of it. I'm putting the pragmatic reality of it. I do not know, and at this moment in time, I'm not sure that we do know, the reason why this referee wasn't allowed in the country. If he didn't meet the visa requirements...
He hasn't met the vetting requirements, is what I'm
told. So that's not a mess. That's an issue from his side, and it's an issue from the people that represent him. As far as the Iranians are concerned, with due respect to whether you like it or you don't like it, the US is at war with Iran. It's hardly a surprise that you are not going to particularly want Iranian supporters coming into the country, despite the proclamation at the time, with the circumstances that Infantino was orchestrating and illustrating, that we want it to be the most inclusive World Cup you could possibly be, and it will be available to everybody. But there are exceptions. If you don't meet your visa requirements, and if you're at war with a country, those are possibly reasonable exceptions. You've now got a World Cup that's got 48 teams rather than 32. So already you're making it more accessible.
Yeah.
So there are lots of pros and cons. What we are doing is we're doing what media usually does, which is find a reason to find something other than the football to talk about. And I quite like that, because I don't want to spend my entire time talking about who plays left back for Costa Rica. But I get the parameters of every tournament comes up, whether it was Russia, whether it was South Africa, the stadiums weren't going to be built, whether it was Russia because of the nature of that country's environment and the way that they live, whether it was Qatar because of the confected outrage from the West that was lecturing countries across the world about how they should conduct themselves in society whilst having no convictions of our own. And all those things come in front.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With the headlines at 3 minutes past 3, I'm Tom Clayton. Good afternoon. Ben Stokes retiring from cricket would be way out of proportion with what he's done. The England skipper is under investigation after he and Gus Atkinson were involved in an incident past curfew in a nightclub on Monday. The cricketer's George DeBell says Stokes stepping away is very possible and absolutely would not fit the crime.
We're talking about people staying out and having too many drinks or staying out too late, really. And it's not ideal, and he's got to set an example, and there has to be some repercussion. But do we really want to see one of the most inspirational cricketers that England have ever had ending their career like this?
Now, should there be more scrutiny about how organisers are going about the World Cup? A Somalian referee's been blocked from entering the country in the US, and Iran have had their ticket allocation removed 2 days before it's set to start. Ian Wright's posted on his social media and is surprised there isn't more outrage.
Is this how the hosts behave, really, for the greatest game, the greatest tournament in the world? Is this how the hosts behave? Are we not hearing more? Are we seeing how Qatar got dragged? Are we not hearing more?
Elsewhere, we understand Kieran McKenna is expected to leave Ipswich this summer. He has an £8 million buyout clause, and Fulham are said to be interested. Meanwhile, Al Hilal are interested in Nottingham Forest manager Vitor Pereira and are prepared to offer a significant wage. He's in talks to extend his contract with an offer already on the table at Forest. Now, talkSPORT understands that Alex Scott has had an £80 million price tag on him this summer, but Bournemouth would rather rather keep a hold of him. We also understand that Arsenal could sell Gabriel Martinelli this summer. Raul Jimenez has agreed to rejoin Wolves, and Man United are targeting keeper Carl Darlow this summer from Leeds. Get all the latest at talkSPORT.com.
talkSPORT News.
Sir Keir Starmer's condemned an horrific and sickening knife attack in Belfast, and a schoolgirl's been arrested over a suspected stabbing in Manchester. Sinead has more at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. The season's changing, so get your car's shim pads and studs checked for spring with a free vehicle safety check. Book in centre or at quickfit.com today.
Sunny spells and showers for most of us. Some areas staying dry. Showers most frequent in the north and west. Wet across central and eastern Scotland. Feeling cool.
Good afternoon, it's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT, where joining us in the final hour of the day, Jamie Curran, who's won the England senior, well, he's won the Seniors World Cup for England.
Marvellous.
Gareth Barry was playing in the team, Barry Hales, a bunch of other players, Lee Hendry. We'll find out more about that and how their road to the final and where they beat the French, stuffed the French 4-0.
Good.
So that's a good omen. Max Rushton.
Talking of stuffing.
Yes.
What a segue.
Well, only if his name was Pierre Sage would we be talking as stuffing. His name is Pierre Sage.
I know.
And he is, looks like he's going to be the new Crystal Palace manager. He's done very, very well at Lens and at Lyon. So he's got a good managerial record, highly rated apparently in France.
And Palace have got a good record in, bringing in Glasner, don't they?
Yeah.
Sounds like they know what they're doing. So
Palace have got their man.
And a lot to live up to, though. I mean, what Glasner achieved was incredible. So,
Raul Jimenez is going back. We spoke to Susie Perry the other day. She'd obviously got wind of it. There must have been a lot of talk.
Going back to Wolves.
They're going back to Wolves. That's right.
That's nice.
And so she was very excited about the prospect. So, a good move for him.
Yeah, and he'll be good for them as well.
Absolutely. We did ask you earlier on about going to the wrong place. Daniel Dubois was supposed to go to Epsom for the derby the other day, but as it was top hat and tails, he went to Ascot instead and actually missed the derby. Saw the last couple of races as a guest of Frank Warren. We were looking for some of your tales of going to the wrong place. I was once accused of taking someone's reserved seat on the train to Crewe, to which I very smugly produced my ticket, which showed I was right in the correct seat until 30 minutes and several stations went by and I realised I was on the wrong train, says Colin. Beautifully done, Colin. Thank you very much. When I was a teenager, I was in Stratford E15 in London when an Italian couple pulled over in their car and said, "Could you tell me where Anne Hathaway's cottage is, please?" Their sat-nav had taken them to Stratford in East London. Eddie Laguna Cabby. Fantastic. Anything else? In the late 90s, I went for a job as a baker in a well-known supermarket. I went to the wrong branch. I asked to see the bakery manager about my interview. A gentleman came out a bit bewildered. We chatted, and I got the job anyway.
That's good.
That's fate, isn't it, Andy, in the Black Country? That's the way it worked. And one of our own, Simon in Bournemouth, says, June last year I went to see Alan Brazil and Ray Parley in one of their shows at Fareham in Hampshire. But in classic Big Al fashion, he'd gone to Farnham in Surrey instead.
Good.
Perry hosted, if you want this confirming. No, I completely believe you, Simon. It's the sort of thing that Al would do.
Definitely.
Oh, Fareham, I thought you said. You could just hear him.
Absolutely.
I won't get there now.
No.
So I made it was quite an Arsenal-heavy evening with Perry and Ray there in the end.
It would be.
You can keep those coming. talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J. 03717223344. Matt the Trucker's weighed in on Ben Stokes. It'd be an absolute travesty if Stokes goes. Talk about shooting ourselves in the foot. Typical English attitude. Oh, let's force our best play out for no good reason. Joke, says Matt.
I sort of have sympathy with that view. Kim Kardashian was at
she coming in?
Yeah, hello, Kim. How you doing?
I thought.
Do you want to watch some games?
I did see some of the stuff that went on in Monaco.
Monaco, yeah. And
She like breezed through with an entourage and security, sort of pushing everybody out the way. So
including Martin Brundle, wasn't he?
Including Michael McIntyre as well at one point. Yeah.
Not good. Anyway, next weekend, I love a bit of classic tabloidies here.
Yeah.
Next weekend, Lewis competes in the Spanish Grand Prix, but will Kim be along for the ride or consigned to the pits? It's certainly too early to declare her his lucky charm despite this weekend's podium finish, but she sure knows how to command pole position.
Oh, yeah, beautifully done.
I love that.
Did you see that story the other day? One of the drivers is an American F2 driver who's in Monaco, Colton Herter, nearly ran a member of staff over.
Really?
Who decided it would be a good idea. Bit quiet on, I'll just run across. Do you know, occasionally we all do it. We see a kind of car coming, think, I've got enough time to get across.
It's dangerous.
Then you realise they're doing about 70 mile an hour. And so it's the Formula One car. It was on him in seconds.
Yeah, no.
Could have killed him. So what a daft thing to do.
That
mate.
is very, very
daft. And it was one of the staff from one of the teams to make it even worse.
I love the glee that greeted the Lionesses' defeat in Spain on Friday from Alex M. in the Star.
Oh, yeah.
Spain 4, England 0. Well, it looks like the Lionesses' bubble has finally burst. Honestly, these people are ridiculous.
Look, I mean, it probably means England are going to have to play in a playoff and Spain are going to win because they'll beat Iceland tonight, whatever Serena Wiegmann's praying for. But how much jeopardy is there? Whoever they get in a playoff, unless it's about one of 3 other countries, they'll probably get through without too much trouble.
Yeah. They might even get through tonight if they have a better result than Spain, but it seems unlikely.
Spain, I can't see that, really. MVG, Michael van Gerwen, he doesn't fancy Holland's chances for the World Cup.
Really?
He calls Ronald Koeman's chances minimal. He said,
I think he's got a point, hasn't he?
You can't win. He says you can't win only on defence. You also have to score. He says, but of course I want them to do well.
Well, we all want our teams to do well.
Yeah.
Brian Limford of Pontefract.
Oh, he's back.
Yes, he's back. He's written this one. Tyson Fury is building a £42 million yacht from scratch. But remember the old saying, the best 2 days of having that yacht is the day you buy it and the day you sell it. Heed them well, says Brian. I'm sure he's going to take a lot.
Has Brian got his own super yacht there?
I doubt it.
Anyway, talkSPORT have teamed up with Meantime to create a lager in time for the World Cup. It's called So Good Lager, which will be poured from all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports pubs across the UK. So whether you're watching the action this summer or settling in for an afternoon with your mates, make sure you check out talksport.com/so good to find your nearest pub. So good, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. David Beckham's favourite sandwich shop in LA. Do you want to know a bit about that?
I do, please.
It's called Enriqueta's Sandwich Shop. David's often in there. He's got his picture on the wall, eating a sandwich. The owner, Lucia Pla, she's 76.
Yeah.
It's for some reason the paper said she goes to work every day in full makeup. I mean, why wouldn't she? She's 76.
Or why would she? What difference does it make if she does what
the
she
paper
doesn't?
felt that was important. David Beckham's favourite sandwich that he has when he goes there, if you're an England fan, maybe heading out that way, Enriqueta's in Wynwood. It's $11.50. Or if it was for sale in the stadium.
This must have been when he played for the Galaxy, because I mean, he's hardly ever in LA now, is he?
Or hang on, or is this in Miami? It might be in Miami. So I take it back. It probably is. It's probably.
Oh no, I was going there. All the people on their way there now.
I'm just thinking that doesn't sound right. It does sound like Miami. So yeah, especially with Lucia with her full makeup.
Yeah.
$11.50. The Cubano Tradicional. You can have. Who I think Harry Redknapp tried to sign one.
Yeah.
A sandwich served on triangular slices of bread packed with slices of ham, pork and Swiss cheese, pickles, mustard and mayonnaise. Victoria often goes with him. Guess what Victoria has when she goes there?
A lettuce.
Not full English with double bubble and an egg on top. She normally orders a single espresso without sugar.
Marvellous. And a lettuce bap. No bread.
Well, he's got globs of mayonnaise running down his chin. So there we are.
Well,
he has all the trimmings.
Did you see that? Very good program, actually. It's a good series. A Life in 10 Pictures.
Oh, yes, I have seen it. Very good.
And the latest one on the weekend was David Beckham.
Is it worth watching?
Oh, it was. Fascinating, yeah.
I'll watch it. Well, one of them's not eating that sandwich, is it?
No.
Okay. Don't go to LA. I won't give you your money back if you've already booked the flight to go.
I was reading about Jed Spence today.
Yeah.
And
he's got to wear that mask, thanks to Rory Delap's
Thanks very much.
agricultural elbow.
Horrible challenge.
It was.
Got sent off for that. And he says it's very painful. But every time I see his name written down, I just want to put, I think it's DJ Ed from The Breakfast Show.
Yeah, it is. Could be DJ Ed
noticed that.
from The Breakfast Show. That's very true. They've not put a... So...
he hasn't got a broken jaw.
No, who hasn't?
DJ
No,
Ed.
okay, thank you for clearing that up. We are going to talk tactics next with Dean Scoggins. Right, it's an excellent sort of tactics column on a regular basis in The Sun. He's out in the States. We'll look at some of the trends we can expect from the tournament. As Annie was saying earlier on, yeah, the low block, we have to get used to that, as we often do for teams looking to stay in the competition. It's a bit mad for Curaçao to go toe-to-toe with France, for example, though, isn't it?
No,
I'm not saying they're in the same group.
It's the only way that they can survive, but it doesn't make for a great spectacle.
So Dean joins us. Jamie Curtin on winning the Seniors World Cup. Max Rushton live from LA. That's all to come. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Open from 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Grab what you need, get on site, get it done. First stop, Tool Station.
A lot, actually, has been made of Jude Bellingham and his role in this World Cup. Many thought Thomas Tuchel would give him the captain's armband in the second half, and that meant he's back in favour. However, he's actually facing a fight to make the starting 11. I mean, I'd be stunned, but Thomas Tuchel said this after the game about Bellingham. He's one of the starters. He knows he's one of the starters, but we have 14 or 15 potential starters. Yeah. These roles can always change, but at the moment, I think there are like 14 or 15 prepper starters, and Jude is one of them. Would he say that about Harry Kane?
Yeah, but I think he's right, though. Everyone's looking for a story here. Bellingham's not going to start. So what? Bellingham has got experience. Already played in 3 tournaments. This is his 4th tournament. 3 goals, 2 assists in major tournaments. He's got the experience. But if he doesn't start, so what? It's not a big deal. Morgan Rogers has been in outstanding form for Aston Villa. And I'm sure by the end of the tournament, whenever England go out, if they win it, Jude Bellingham would have played a big role. But if he does start, he knows he's got to be at it. Because you've got someone like Rodgers and Eze who are there to try and take your spot.
You say it's not a big deal, and I agree it's not a big deal.
Not for
but
me.
you want your best player starting, and I would say Jude Bellingham's better than Morgan Rogers.
Of course, yeah.
What happened there?
Different players for me. I like Jude Bellingham, but I love the way Morgan Rogers. He's running
better. If you're going to pick one in out of 10, who are you picking?
I can't call it.
Why?
I think they both offer something different. In certain games, you have Bellingham.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
Just before we talk tactics with Dean Scoggins, Andy Brassel, our very own, has taken a closer look at England's World Cup group ahead of the big kick-off on Thursday.
And Bellingham has got 2 balls to his left-hand side. If he can get it through, and he has. It's Kane, and it's through.
With England, we've always got a chance.
The reason why they went for Thomas Tuchel is not to maintain the status quo, was to win.
Comes back to Modric. Oh! Fantastic goal from the edge of the penalty area. What a finish that was from Luka Modric.
People still see Modric as the face of Croatia. They might not be noticing that there are some really, really good young players coming through. And my one to watch is Luka Vučković, one of the best defenders in the Bundesliga. Tough, sturdy, composed on the ball, and he chips in with goals as well.
Lovely ball into Semenyo, and he turns it into the far corner.
Ghana, they will be a threat.
Thomas Asante!
To qualify for the World Cup alone is a big statement from us.
And the Panamanians, jig of delight in the stands, says it all. They have their first ever World Cup goal.
Yeah, we're just having a chat with Adi Oladipo earlier on, who was on with Adam and Simon earlier on, and he's going to be out there, and he said England-Ghana is massive in Ghana. They're already buzzing for the game. So let's talk tactics with the sort of World Cup we're likely to see. Dean Scoggins, we enjoy his work in the sun when he talks tactics. He joins us now from the States. Hello, Dean.
Hello, fellas. How are we?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. I mean, I think we've all decided that it's going to be a pretty slow, because of the heat, pretty slow-paced sort of pedestrian World Cup. Are you expecting something similar?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the heat's it's only going to get hotter and hotter. Actually, here in New York at the moment, it's pretty pleasant, and you do well with all the high rises around here to actually find any sunlight. It's mostly walking in the shade. But I can assure you, when you get out to the MetLife Stadium, which is in New Jersey, about 40 minutes outside the city, that it's going to be pretty hot. I think you're right. I found it really interesting in the England friendly against New Zealand that Tuchel talked about the principles of pressing and really going after teams, which I think they did try and do, but we could all see how difficult that was in the heat. So I heard Andy's piece on our group. I thought it was really good. I think what actually benefits England is we're playing against a couple of half-decent teams as well, which will actually allow us to play a little bit rather than, as you talked about, some of the lesser nations parking the bus or sitting behind the ball.
Yeah, that's what we were chatting about earlier on. That's been the problem. Thomas Tuchel, we're talking to Jonathan Northcroft in his book about this, that, you know, there isn't that jeopardy. You don't really play good sides. And unfortunately for Thomas Tuchel, the only really good side they played was Senegal, and they beat them. So, I mean, we don't want to read too much into that, but they've not had a lot of top quality football. But that's true of a lot of the teams at this World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But remember that, I mean, he doesn't take as much stock in friendlies as some other managers do. He very much uses them as experiments. He brings other players in for that, and that was the case in the Senegal game and the New Zealand game. I mean, he's made 11 changes at half time. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night. I mean, it's tomorrow afternoon here, but to see really I think that's going to be our first proper look at what the team's going to be. And there's a few question marks, right? I mean, Nico O'Reilly, a lot of people are assuming is going to be left back. But in that game against New Zealand, he came on as the left hand of the midfield too. And in both halves, Thomas Tuchel picked a right-footed left back. And there was an obvious tactic to cut in on the right foot and try and clip the ball to the back post to Harry Kane. But I'm really interested to see whether it's Bellingham or Rodgers. You know, we've got an Eze question as well. I think it'll be Rashford over Gordon. So, yeah, there's quite a few question marks. And he also could throw a couple of curveballs in so that Ghana and Croatia aren't as necessarily well prepared as they might be.
What about the general trends? Do you see, I mean, we saw the coaches are no longer slaves to playing out from the back. Some are, and they seem almost dated. There's certainly, you saw Arteta, you saw Guardiola. There is more mixing it up, isn't it? There's more going long now, I think, than there was maybe a season or so ago.
Yeah, absolutely bang on. And I think that was definitely the case in the second half of the Premier League. I talked about it a lot on my YouTube show on Tactics Exposed. And, you know, we've noticed a general trend of more direct football. The only thing I'm a little concerned about when it comes to that in the World Cup is that makes the pitch really big. If you just imagine that you've got your defenders sort of sitting around the edge of the box and then the opposition defence dropping back, as a lot of teams will do, and you're going direct into your striker, that means you've got 40 to 50 yards for midfields to cover. And I actually think because of that, and teams will go that way, but because of that, I think we're going to hear this term finishers quite a lot from the top managers, where they're going to keep some midfielders, some number 10s and some attackers in reserve until the last 20, 25 minutes, when teams will be hot. Maybe after the second drinks break, you've worn down a lesser opposition a little bit. And we may see Morgan Rogers start, for example, for England, and then Jude Bellingham come on as almost like a specific rugby union style finisher, where you then take the game away from the opposition later on.
Tuchel has said he wants to get some game times into the legs of players that he feel needs it. It'd be interesting to see if he starts with what we think will be his strongest team, or whether he finishes with what we believe might be his strongest team going into the Croatia game.
Yeah, I think that's bang on. I think it'll be a mixture. I mean, I think we'll see John Stones get some more minutes because he didn't get enough for Manchester City at the end of the season. Obviously looked very comfortable against New Zealand, but, it was New Zealand, let's be fair. But yeah, Reece James again is another one who didn't get as many minutes at the end of the season because of injury. And don't forget, the Arsenal boys have joined this week. So there's quite a mix there, and there's a few question marks. I mean, lots of people are assuming that it will be Anderson in midfield, but the way that Mars Lewis Skelly played in the Champions League final, he could make a late claim as well. I think we're fairly certain it'll be Declan Rice and Harry Kane up the middle of the pitch, and Mark Gay will be in as well. But there's lots of little question marks around England, and I actually think that's an exciting thing because we've got so many options.
3 games in 10 days as well, Dean. So that would suggest he's going to have to use all the squad, isn't it? That's quite a lot of football in that weather.
Yeah, quite right. Yeah, and again, I think there was a lot of contention around the squad that he picked and the players he left out. But what I think you can see is he's got a couple of different ways of playing. He got the likes of Dan Burn could start a game at left back, but in tactical play, he won't be at left back. He'll actually be the left centre back, and then the right back, be it Reece James, can go into midfield or really push high. And that means you can get an extra midfielder on the pitch or an extra attacker on the pitch in that shape. So he's picked a very flexible squad. But I do expect England to quite comfortably get out of the group, even though I think Ghana and Croatia are tough opposition.
I think we'll also learn who's had the right approach to when they arrive at the World Cup.
Point.
Some countries have gone in very early to acclimatise. Some haven't. And we saw the French play last night in France. They're going to head off late. You said it was cold where they were playing. That undershirt.
They did.
So
yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it?
Portugal have gone late as well.
Yeah, we were talking about it here last night, and because it is a different heat, for everyone who's been to this part of the world. There's quite a sort of an intense heat, so you've got to it's something you've really got to get used to. And I think if England had played their last friendly at Wembley in a drizzly North London like this week, and then come out and not really hit the ground running in their first game, we'd be asking a few big questions. A bit like with the England cricket team going to the Ashes and not playing any games, So I think it's a really big thing. Look, maybe Deschamps thinks that they'll breeze through the group and that they'll sort of hit the ground running as they get into the knockout stages. But for me, that's a pretty big risk.
Absolutely.
I mean, Dan Burn was there a week before. A lot of the England players. He was at
Disneyland.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not quite acclimatised.
No, but
sitting on the teacups.
In terms of the heat. It is.
I mean, Marcus Rashford.
Marcus Rashford is a big point to make about Marcus Rashford. He actually went right at the end of the Liga season, didn't go on holiday, went over to Florida and spent some time strength and conditioning and getting himself used to that. So, and I thought he looked really sharp against New Zealand in that first half as well, on a very tricky pitch.
Well, we'll see if Deschamps and Martin has got it right once it gets underway. Good to talk to you, Dean. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you
soon. Dean Scoggins there, Deputy Head of Sport, The Sun, and Tactics Man.
He really does know his stuff. He's great.
Yeah, we will catch up with him during the tournament. Jamie Curtin's going to join us. He's fresh from winning the England Seniors World Cup. A good omen, I think, for Thomas Tuchel and the boys. And then Max Rushton joins us live from LA. He's out there for the World Cup. And we'll find out a little bit more about Pierre Sage, who has got the gig, it would seem, at Crystal Palace as their new coach. That's all coming up the next half hour before we hand over to Rory Jennings and Darren Bent with Drive.
was brought in to win the World Cup. It is all or nothing. You either win the World Cup or you don't. Now, actually, it might be black or white for a lot of people. I think there's a little bit of greyness in there. If he gets through to the semi-final and loses unluckily against Argentina or Portugal for some reason in these conditions, but there will be a lot of people who will say, "Well, you didn't do this, you didn't take Cole Palmer, Morgan Gibbs-White, Harry Maguire, Lewis Hall." You know what? It's all about winning football matches now. And
That he was brought in to win the World Cup.
The
What's the minimum that he has to achieve for you?
Do you know what? So for the 2022, said if Harry Kane had stuck that penalty away, England, I thought we've got a great chance here, and we kind of laboured our way through to the final. Genuinely, with this competition, I've got no idea, because we could easily get evolve as the tournament goes on, but then there's half a dozen who could as well. Or we could play Mexico 6. He said your body does three things in the altitude. One, you can handle it. Two, you struggle. Three, yourself could be a very, very difficult game. I would say, but then people turn around and say, well, that's what Gareth Southgate did.
Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson could be dropped for the second test with New Zealand next week. It's after England's cricketers were already subject to a midnight curfew. Editor Lawrence Booth.
Stokes was part of the management to hang on to the authority that he's had over this team, and England face a very difficult decision.
The Independent Football, the Daily and Sunday Sport, without a criminal charge.
Shareholder, how do they force him to sell his shares? How do they tell him what the share price of that scenario is? I'm assuming he might want to.
Barlow is a target for Man United this summer. The last player. And the administrator suspended for asking what former World Cup winner Maggie Alfonsi knows about men's rugby has quit. Matthew Smith has stood down from.
Ken as a guest of Frank Warren, missed some of the racing. Years ago as a fresh-faced truck driver, and there wasn't any sat-navs, I was working in the office and a driver called in to say he couldn't find the delivery address in Abingdon. Unfortunately, he was supposed to be in Abingdon near Oxford, but he was actually in Abingdon in Liverpool.
Good one.
So, congratulations. Final saw England put France in their place with a big 4-0 victory. Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. Played there because England have had a good record in this tournament, haven't they, in the past?
Yes, yeah. I went in 2017 and then didn't go back until this year. So I've had a bit. You get asked if you want to go, then contact with different people and asked if you want to get out there. And I think the selection obviously goes on the age groups as well. So he rang me this year because I felt I'd be a decent one to have in the over 50s.
You have to have 3 over 50s, 3 players age 40 to 44, 4 age 40 to 14. You're looking a bit fresh-faced in any of the teams, did you?
I'm not, no. What Paul probably done well was everyone throughout each age group was very fit. So started 4 out of the 5. So you do need the 50s to just contribute quite a lot because we can roll on and off as well. So we had a strong 50 sort of group, which I think helped.
What were the conditions like you were playing in Thailand?
Yeah, boiling.
Yeah, really? Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, very humid. Final was 4, so that was really hot. We had rain, I think, once in the semi-final for about 10 minutes, which felt nice. But yeah, in general, it is hot. I think we had drinks breaks in both halves, sort of 20 minutes in.
And you've got a flavour of what they're going to be experiencing out in the States, Canada, and Mexico, didn't you? Playing in those conditions.
Yeah, they'd probably just be moving a bit quicker than we were. So.
I'm not so sure. So Gareth Barry was there, 45. I'll do the ages. Lee Hendry, 49.
Yeah.
Luke Chambers, 40, one of the kids in the team. Barry Hales, formerly of Fulham. Other names that featured.
So Carl Duguid would have been there, Greg Halford. Trying to think who else.
Gloucestershire Live said there were 3 ex-Cheltenham players. That's you, Barry Hales and Alex Russell.
Alex, yeah. Aggie was there. Ian Cox, so he was another one of the over 50s. Sean Davis.
Oh, right. Fulham and Spurs, Sean Davis.
Yeah. So it was good. I mean, me and Barry played up front in the final and the semi, so it was about 104 years between us.
Wow. And so you beat the French in the final.
Yeah.
So the road to the final, you beat the hosts. Is that right? 2-0 win over Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand, yeah. Taiwan as well.
Yeah. 4-1 Taiwan, and then you beat the USA 3-0. I mean, were there
they were quite physical then. They weren't. They were very
temper. Did they?
When did we have I think it was with USA. They got a man sent off, and there was a bit of rowing and pushing and shoving. Because obviously physical was fine, but some of it was off the ball.
That's a bit
and a bit dangerous. Yeah, so we thought we had to stand up a bit, so we didn't want to get pushed around too much.
And what about the French team? Are there any players we know and recognise?
No, I think we're probably the only team that call up maybe like ex-Premier League players and stuff like that. I think they have a lot of maybe players that have played lower level football, where I think we're the only team at the moment that really call up sort of, ex-professionals, really. I'd imagine it's because it's
It was a good social as well, I take it. You found time to have a beer or two.
Yeah, I mean, we meet in Bangkok and do what you want to do, a bit of shopping and stuff. Then we fly over, we had a friendly. And then in Ubon, where we were, you were, 3-time sort of we were doing pool sessions in the morning. But when quite quick. And then it's just after a game, 9-10 o'clock if you want to go out and just relax and I suppose have a drink. But I know we've got to be up and running around again, so I try and take it steady. But yeah, it was nice social as well. You got to see a lot of old friends and catch up how they are and what they're doing in their lives and stuff. So it was really nice.
Nice trophy you got. Was it a big one?
Yeah, nice big one. Yeah, gold one. It's very nice. Medals really heavy as well. So it is a good tournament. It's how it is, but you probably could push it and it could become bigger. But I think a lot of the players don't want that because we might not get called up because they'd be calling up a lot of the old superstars. So it's run really well. It's Thai people are brilliant. We go and visit schools on our day off. So we went to an orphan school and a underprivileged school and spend some time with them, and then they become your supporters. So they learnt all the songs about 2 weeks before. So the main song they were singing was Vindaloo, which was good to hear. And the kids had a drum, and it made the atmosphere really good. There's about 200 school kids that come and supported us.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah, we try and do a bit within the sort of communities as well. So it is really nice.
And is it every couple of years? Where often do they play?
Oh no, it's every year.
Oh, every year, blimey!
Yeah,
World Cup
I
every
think
year.
it's meant to be in Krabi. Yeah, meant to be in Krabi next year. So I think that all the boys want to get on that one because it's a bit of a holiday destination. So yeah, it's every year, and I think a lot of the boys, like Barry, this will be his 10th year next year. Wow. So a lot of them sort of really enjoy it, and it's a bit of a break at the end of a tough year, whatever you've been doing, I suppose.
Now, have you retired yet? Because you were turning out for Kings Park Rangers last season. You're going to go one more season, going into your 50s.
I think so, because I've played 5 games in 6 days and feel all right. So, I could play one a week. But yeah, I just got to find somewhere. I don't really know what I'm doing at the moment, whether I go back into management or playing or something else within football. So I need 7 more games for 1100. So I can't really let that slip. So even if I just play 7 games next season, that'll be enough. Yeah. But yeah, I'll put the boots on again and see if I can run around.
Congratulations on winning the World Cup.
Thank you very much.
Good to talk to you, Jamie. We'll probably catch up with you next season. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Take care. Jamie Curtin there, still going strong at 50, still loving playing. It'd be great if he gets to 1100. Well, we're going to be joined by our own Alex Crook in a few seconds. So I'm going to find out a little bit more about Pierre Sarge, who looks like he's going to be the new Palace manager. And then we'll head to LA and have a chat with Max. He'll be here with Charlie, of course, tomorrow from 1 or I think 3 in the morning his time. I think something like that. Anyway, we're here with Toolstation. First stop for everything from the job from 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Start strong, start it right. First stop, Toolstation.
You've played a lot of football in Thailand, of course. Are you there now? Or are you in LA? I can't work out where you are.
I'm in LA at the minute, but I played the last season in Thailand.
Yeah. What's the humidity out there for you? How much of a sort of not an eye opener was it? But you can't really prepare for that unless you're out there, right?
You can't really prepare for it, and you don't really get used to it. There's not a time in the whole season where I thought, right, now I'm used to the conditions. It's how can I adapt my game to be able to survive? Am I going to have to time my runs? Am I going to have to dribble once and then keep it simple? Am I going to have to defensively? Am I going to have to know when and where to press? Because I can't go every time. And I think that's what the England guys are going to have. It's a similar conditions, probably not as hot, but that's what the guys are going to have to figure out over the two friendly games is I can't go every time. I'm going to have to choose my moments. And I think we saw in New Zealand, even like the Anthony Gordons and the Ollie Watkins, who are go. Even those guys were choosing their moments. Ngamoa played very well on the right, but he didn't go 1v1 every time. He kept it simple sometimes. And that's the way it's going to have to be.
It's a weird feeling, isn't it, Andros? I remember going to Hong Kong quite a lot pre-season tours, and you can't breathe, can you? It's like you're trying to sprint and you feel like you're going to like pass out from not being able to breathe. Do you think that the manager will have to make sure he's using the squad in this World Cup? You know, in those games where you're playing in those conditions, even the game, when we get to the last 16, if that's Mexico in Mexico City, he has to use a squad of players, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%, Gabby. And I think that's why we spoke about the wingers he has. There's probably no real difference in a Gordon or a Rashford or a Saka or a Maddo.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
Before we head to LA and catch up with Max Rushton, let's hear from Alex Crook, find out a bit more about Pierre Sarge, who looks like he's got the job at Palace as their new coach. Hi, Crookie.
Afternoon, boys.
So we don't know a lot about him, but he comes highly recommended, highly regarded, been doing very well over in France.
Yeah, just to underline the details, as we understand it, Saj has agreed a 3-year contract taking him until 2029 with Palace. There is compensation to be paid to his current club, Lens. I'm told that's around about €5 million to include various performance-related add-ons. But you're right, he does come very highly rated, so highly rated. In fact, I'm told he actually spoke with Liverpool before they hired Andoni Iraola. So that tells you exactly how high his stock is. He's similar to Oliver Glasner in terms of his tactical approach. He plays with a back three. Felt there is maybe a bit more flexibility than we saw from Glasner, and he likes to press a little bit higher. Very aggressive, strong on set plays as well. Had a lot of success with that at Lens. Finished second in the French league last season and won the French Cup. So this feels like a really good fit for Crystal Palace.
Yeah. I mean, so did you say how long the contract's likely to be? Have they said?
Yeah, 3 years,
Oh, right,
I understand,
okay.
initially until
Right.
2029. Whether there's an option to extend, I'm not sure yet, but it's a long-term deal, gives a bit of stability. And obviously the challenge Palace now face is keeping hold of their best players, the likes of Jean-Philippe Mateta, Maxence Lacroix at the back, and in particular Adam Wharton.
Well, having a French manager won't hurt two of those, I guess.
No, very true. Very
Yeah.
true. Yeah, but, speaking of people at Palace, they're excited about this appointment. It's no secret they tried for Andoni Iraola, but when they realised that wasn't going to happen, they very quickly turned their attentions to Lens.
Yeah, and their expectations of Palace fans are much higher now after Glasner.
Yeah, it's not going to be it's not an easy job, is it? Quick one on Kieran McKenna. The Moose was in earlier on, and he contacted his person at Ipswich, and they said, I can't see him leaving. I certainly can't see him going to Fulham. But there does seem to be a bit of a head of steam there. So what are you hearing, Crookie?
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of noises that McKenna is increasingly likely to leave Ipswich. We know he's got a big release clause in his contract. That increased to £8 million as a result of leading Ipswich back into the Premier League. But as far as I understand it, he's right at the top of Fulham's thinking. And I guess the decision they have to make is whether they're willing to pay this release clause. And then also, I think he comes with quite a big entourage, Kieran McKenna. So it's not a cheap deal to do, but certainly is one that we're going to be keeping an eye on.
Excellent. We'll speak to you soon. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, guys.
Alex Crook, our chief football correspondent. So we cross to LA now, where Max Rushton is in situ for the whole of the World Cup.
His body clock must be completely.
But he will be here with Charlie Baker tomorrow from 1. So we've worked out it's 5 o'clock in the morning he'll be on. But he's used to that. Good afternoon or good morning, Max.
Do you know what? In my taxi driver on the way from the airport, Jose, all he could talk about was Kieran McKenna's entourage, bigger than most of the celebrities in LA. Who knew Kieran McKenna had that? He's 50 people in Kieran McKenna's entourage. Yeah, you find me, gentlemen, in the cinema room of our apartment.
Wow.
And I'm negotiating with reception because the show tomorrow is at 5. I'm rooming with Barry Glendenning for 6 weeks, which is interesting to see who will
There's
kill
your
each other
sitcom
first.
pilot.
That's a very bad idea.
Exactly, isn't it? He is in the background, just standing there, just lolling. Get a hobby, Barry. Like, do something else. He's done the first big shot, so he says he's got a win, but he did leave a knife unwashed. It wasn't a sharp knife. I don't know if it was a warning in the sink.
Isn't it?
Yeah. He's going to start putting the label on his food.
Your voice, Max, is sounding very, very deep. You might get some voiceover work while you're there.
Yeah, you could do.
Well,
maybe Gavit's going to be back on.
Tom and Tim like to eat on the go. I did go out for a couple of drinks last night, and it ended up being a few more. But my aim is to live healthily, and this is a safe space because I don't think Mrs. Rushton listens to talkSPORT. But you know, the first night, young Willie Rushton was awake from 1 till 4 in the morning, and now it looks like Ian Rushton, the 4-year-old, has hand, foot, and mouth. These are terrible bits of news for me to get and have a relaxing time during the World Cup.
I remember when you were here.
Yeah. But I'm currently lying on the floor of this cinema room because we don't have a table. I'm negotiating with reception as to whether I can bring a table into here because I don't think I can do a side plank for 3 hours tomorrow. I think that would affect.
I'm slightly
true. I can see we're in a strange position.
I'm slightly concerned that suddenly those curtains behind you are going to open and you'll be halfway through Debbie Does Dallas, whatever that is. Yes. So, is there World Cup fever? You and Barry been about?
Yeah,
do you sense there's a World Cup in town?
So on my flight, there were about 20 people in Socceroos shirts. So that started to give me a bit of like, okay, people are coming to this World Cup because obviously, I'm sure you've talked about it, but Ian Wright did a brilliant thing on Instagram about how many people are being denied entry to this thing, and now some referees not allowed in, and there's this whole backdrop of, the depressing side of it.
But Australians know about not being allowed in somewhere.
Well, of course.
Border force, you're not coming in.
Did I tell you, Andy, about the time we landed back? And this is not answering your question, Paul, but we landed back at Melbourne, 24 hours with, I think we had one child at the time. And then he ran off, and then the carousel, we went to pick up a bag from the carousel, and we came back, and there was a Border Force person at our trolley and said, "You've left this unattended for 8 seconds. Come with us." And then we had like a second to unpack all the old sandwiches and rubbish that we'd accumulated from the flight. Yeah. We went through, and the sniffer dog came, and they found one apple. And this woman, honestly, the worst person I've ever met, she went into an office for 10 minutes. We've been on a plane for 24 hours. We're so tired. She went in an office for 10 minutes and came back out with this apple, and she put it on the desk, and she said, "What is this?" So this is an amazing question, right? So we're all looking at this apple. There's me, Jamie, and young Ian, and he is saying apple on repeat. 2 years old, going, apple, apple. She says, "What is this?" So then Jamie said, and I'm furious, I don't really anger quickly, but I'm so angry with this person. She goes, "It's an apple." Jamie says, "It's an apple." And then her next question was great. She said, "And what is its purpose?" What is its purpose? It's an apple.
Strudel.
So what we're going to do is plant it. We're going to plant it under the Opera House and wait 200 years until it grows and it tears down one of your buildings. Anyway, is there World Cup fever? We went to a pub yesterday and it was absolutely rammed because the San Antonio Spurs were playing the Knicks.
Yeah.
And I can give you a review of that game if you haven't already. The Spurs have one player who is about at least 15 feet tall.
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama, yeah.
Amazing. He's like a giraffe, sort of lolloping about on the pitch. And at the end of the game, the interviewer, she was about 5 foot. Yeah. And so when they cut to the single of him, they focused in on him, all you could see with this arm, like really, like this arm, like absolutely so tiny, this little arm poking into his head. But so the answer is not really yet. Haven't really sensed a vibe of it yet.
Well, last week, you would have loved this, Max. Last week, Wembanyama, a bloke ran onto the court, a kid ran onto the court to get a selfie of him. He was manhandled off the court. He's now been banned from every basketball court for life in the whole of the United States.
Good. That sounds good, doesn't it? That's what we want.
Well, he didn't get the selfie because he got the angle of he was about 5'4", got the angle of the camera wrong. So all he got was the guy's shoulders, didn't even get his head. It was like
worth a life ban.
Naked Gun. It was ridiculous. But I'm sure it'll pick up. Now you and Barry there, you'll start the World Cup fever.
I think so. That's what people were waiting for. Yeah. And once it starts, and it's a bit like, we haven't really been into town, and everywhere. When the Lions come to Australia and they're like, "What's the vibe in Melbourne?" I'm like, to be honest, I'm just in the shed or I'm in the playroom with Brio trains. Like the vibe, there's not like 20 Welshmen singing in this thing. So look, we'll find out. Really, this was less of an interview and it was more, does the line work? Is the Wi-Fi, could this hold up for a 3-hour show?
Oh, it sounds all right, sounds good.
Can you hear me?
Your voice isn't great, but the rest of it sounds great.
Yeah, but it's deep. This is like when I got the voiceovers for CNN, Paul.
Oh, really? After a night out with Barry?
Exactly. I'd had a massive night out and I got a call saying, "Look, could you do it?" And I was like, "This is CNN with Harley Garani." And then I went into and I got the gig and it was quite good money. And then I went in to do it. And I obviously hadn't had a skinful the night before when I did it. And it was just a guy going, "Hi, it's Mike in Atlanta here. Could you be a little deeper?" And I was like, "Hello." And then they gave it to some guy off Capital Radio. But, that's life.
Oh,
are you near North Larchmont Boulevard?
Am I near North Larchmont?
You want something picking? You want a parcel picking up?
Phil Rosenthal does Somebody Feeds Phil on Netflix.
Yeah.
He has his own great show. He has his own restaurant named after his parents, Max and Helen.
Oh, yeah.
And
they were great.
He's been posting stuff.
Soccer M Glory is.
Yeah.
The food looks really
we got to go, Max, but go and check this out. But you're going to be back. You're going to be back tomorrow with Charlie.
Tomorrow, 1 p.m. for you, 5 a.m. for me. And then the warm-up is absolutely god-awful at like 2 in the morning.
Oh, ridiculous.
Absolutely terrible. Who's doing that? What a disaster.
Hopefully, we'll get love to Barry. Hopefully, we'll catch up with you during the tournament.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, all the best. That's Max Rushton, back with Charlie tomorrow. We'll be here on Thursday. Don't forget, starting at the earlier time. For the duration of the World Cup from Thursday morning, we're switching with Jim and Simon. We're going to be coming to you 10 a.m. in the morning. All the reflections on the last England friendly, all the build-up to the opening game, the opening ceremony. Will be in Mexico to speak to someone who's coaching out there these days. Give us a bit of a flavour of the World Cup fever there. That and a whole lot more. Your calls on England. Lots more besides 10 a.m. on Thursday. We'll catch up with you then. Coming up next, it's Rory Jennings and Darren Bent with Drive.
So what do you think of Chelsea keeping hold of him? How important is he to Chelsea?
Well, he's everything. He's the star. He's only got 7 years left on his contract, so the power might
Time is running out. He's probably sweating over it right now.
The power might be with the owners, but actually it's not fully with the owners, because if you've got a player who so desperately wants to get out, that's a toxic situation to be in. Now, hopefully the owners will have made that statement with Xabi Alonso, and then we'll make more statements with the players that they bring in. So not just to Cole Palmer, but to Marc Cucurella. You have to say he's one of the best left backs in the world. You have to, as annoying as he might be, and I get it, even coming from a Chelsea angle, you want him in your side, not against you.
You do.
Enzo Fernandez, one of the cleverest, technically brilliant players, because he's not quick, but the way he